Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Now it's going. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. But it's a different. If it's a different thing though. If you're gonna find it, I'll go back on Facebook with a new link. Why couldn't you go back into the other one though? That's stupid. What? Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Kate, search for the new show. There's 10 people on too. Well, you don't know what it is until it creates it. What? Well, that's just, I got gaining stuff up because I was. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. It's fine now. Test 1 2. So I need to
test
find
1 2. Test 1 2.
Test 1 1 2. That's from the before. That's from the last show. I got the last show. I'll put the new link in the chat. People are finding us, Rick, so you better talk. We got 4 people back on.
All right, so hopefully you can hear me.
There you go. Talk. We got people coming back. We had YouTube locked up on us on the one YouTube. You couldn't really restart it, so that's great, YouTube. Thanks. So we made a new one. It's called Take 2. I'll post it here on Facebook shortly.
So polls have closed. Majority of the Midwest and East Coast states. Early results in from North Carolina have Trump up. Trying to get to see if we have some calls here. New Hampshire going strong Biden early on.
5 people back on. Thanks for joining with us. I hate Facebook, YouTube, all of that. I hate it.
Ohio early on, not 40% in, has a strong lead for Biden, which would be quite the upset, I think, or at least by that big of a margin. Not sure which counties are in there. Seeing how that's going. Pennsylvania, Biden off to an early big lead there with 1% reporting. South Carolina with 6 in is a virtual dead heat. Tennessee has been called for Trump, not a surprise.
All right, so we'll get some people back. Well, I posted a new link on Facebook with the new show. Anything else? I don't think I can post. Maybe I can post in that old video link. Let me take a look at that. What were we even talking about? We got so rudely interrupted by technology. I think we were talking about how the presidents, the candidates were so nasty to each other. And you were going to take away on that.
Yeah, I think we were general conversation was talking about leadership. And then we were talking about how they weren't displaying leadership by how they were treating one another. And I made the point, trying not to rehash here, but I don't know what you guys all heard. But name calling, Biden for one, never referred to Trump as Mr. President, the president, anything like that. I think that was a very calculated move. I think Biden was trying to appear presidential more so than Trump is, so he was trying to not associate Trump's name with president as much as he possibly could. And with Trump too, the same thing. You can cannot like him. You can call him crass. All those things. He's not. He's not dumb. He's not doing those things just because they're working for him. He's firing up his base. That's his path, is to get. He knows he has a certain amount of people that are on his side. He's winning those people, getting them fired up to vote, not caring about what he says and how he offends people who aren't going to vote for him anyway.
Yeah, and he's not a lifetime politician, so Trump, at the end of the day, doesn't really care. He's got no real party that he's going to be affiliated with. I mean, he is a Republican, but he wasn't brought up in the same channels that the rest of the Republican Party was, so he doesn't have to feel like he has to play by their rules. And that's one of the reasons people love him. He doesn't play by the rules, and he doesn't do that. And as you went through his 4 years, you saw more and more people that jumped on board. Lindsey Graham hated the guy. He would ask me day one, and Lindsey Graham was one of his staunchest supporters in defending him through the Ukraine and Russia investigation. So that just shows you that, when Trump uses those nasty words and does all that, I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I don't think it's presidential, but he's playing to a big base that love him the more he does that. And then the more the media plays off that even fires up his base even more. And that's something I think that the media didn't understand, and the Democratic Party didn't understand in 2016, and how they're continuing to not understand it to this day is still boggles my mind. Every time that the media goes out against Trump, there's a reason he calls CNN fake news. Does he really think it's fake news? Probably. Does he use it more as a tool to rally his base and get inside the head more of the liberal reporters and journalism? Heck yes, he does.
Yeah, definitely. He's using those things as tools. He's manipulating the media. He's persuading. There's things when you say things together. There's persuasiveness, right? There's tools in there when he calls Sleepy Joe or Crooked Hillary. Those words then become associated in your mind, whether you're directly doing it and consciously doing it or not. And like you said, the more that CNN, the more that the MSNBC, how more they attack him, that's a badge of honor. That's what his base wants to see. They figure if CNN and MSNBC are trashing him, then he's doing the right things. So, like you said, it's a game. They're playing it. They're doing things calculated. Don't think that. I mean, they do make mistakes and they do gaffes, but for the most part, they're doing things very calculated and very much on purpose.
We're seeing Fox News right now coming in here. I think that says 86% in, if I'm not mistaken. And Trump's got a pretty good lead right here, 50.4 to, I think it was 48. They went to a different map. So
in Georgia, that was 16% in Georgia was all.
Yeah, we don't know what counties they're in too. If that's a bigger counties in Miami-Dade, that sways it big. If one of you guys have been, one of our friends out there has been really closely following the Electoral College map down, we haven't, especially for the last 15 minutes while we had that technical difficulties. Thanks for coming along with us. Mueller's Day Off Show 2020 election. Glad to have you aboard. 605-990-9080 if you'd like to call in, 605-990-9080. I'm John Mueller along with brother Rick Mueller. Special guest coming shortly. Also got some calls to make. A couple people that wanted to voice their opinion about what they think. But so far, no real surprises. Florida's a big linchpin here that we've been talking about. 29 Electoral College votes. Trump, in my mind, can't lose Florida. If he loses Florida, it's about over. Not just from the fact that he can't make that up in other states. Florida shows kind of like Ohio. It's kind of the pulse of the country. It's got that great mix right at that balance point, and it's a big state to show which way the American public's thinking tonight. So big state there. So we'll keep watching that. 50.4 to 48.8, 5 million won to right at 5 million for Biden. So that one's going to be coming down to the wire. And that might be one of those too. If it stays that close, that we're not going to know tonight either. I mean, I don't think Florida was one of those that, like Pennsylvania, that got the Supreme Court was okay with the, I think, 7 days in Pennsylvania they can take. I don't know if Florida's got that case. I haven't really followed that close, but that's what they keep talking about. They keep talking about every station, everybody you hear. We might not know this thing for a week, a month. Remember the old hanging chads back in Florida?
Florida's notorious for their delays in election results. I have a feeling we're going to have a pretty decent idea at some point tonight which way it's going to go. There may be some races that are too close to call, maybe have some recounts. But I think overall we're probably going to get a very good idea before everyone is heading to sleep tonight what's going to happen. Maybe some of the totals won't be finalized.
Yeah, keep, what was it, 100 million people about early voting? Was that the number?
I saw something, 102 million or something along those lines. I think was what I saw. It's astounding. All the reports I got in, not that I have that many connections, but it corresponds with what I'm hearing on the news. Across the country, is turnout has been high. Polling places have been busy. Which doesn't matter which side you're on and which way you go. The more participation, the better off we are for sure. So very, very passionate election, very controversial election. A lot of fear being played on both sides. So I think a lot of people are feeling motivated to come out and vote. I think that's also going to maybe throw a little bit of a wrench into some of the pollsters, especially if we have dramatic turnout on both sides. That would be unprecedented. They're going to have a hard time. They would have a hard time accounting for that. So that'll be something to watch as we go through the night. Is how close some of these projections and polls are coming in with all the variability that we're seeing today as far as turnout and whatnot.
And the mail-in voting, another thing. Some states went to a lot of mail-in voting. And that's one of those things. Nebraska has always, back when Mom and Dad, we grew up in Nebraska, they voted by mail a lot. I mean, but they had a system in place. So, when Trump's talking about these states, I didn't like that where they said, well, Washington or Oregon, we've always done mail-in voting. They're not talking about that. They're talking about these states that in a 2-month time period or a 3-month time period try to get mail-in voting. Mail-in voting, there's a portal. Every state's got a portal, to see where your ballot's at before and after you fill it out and send it in. There's a lot of that stuff. And we saw with the universal health care, with Obamacare, that getting the government to make a web page and a portal that works for a decent amount is basically impossible. And that's what we're talking about with mail voter fraud. You saw these ballots from some of these Republican areas that the ballots would be thrown into dumpsters and all that. So, I really think unless you have it in place, you can't change the rules within 3 or 4 months of an election. You got to go with what you have. I know it's COVID and all that, but I didn't really care for that argument. So yeah, that's another thing. Mail-in ballots. A lot of states, if they're postmarked by today, they still count. So how you make a call on a state that's within a percentage or two, I don't know how they'll do that tonight. We'll see. Fox and some of these stations have got burned in the past for calling these. Florida with Bush and Gore, they all called Florida, and they had to come out an hour or something later and revert their, basically admit their mistakes and they're bad. So it'll be interesting to see how close they'll call that. Indiana 58%, Biden 39%. And that's the other thing we got to look at. Some of these states, Indiana was going to go Trump, but how big are the margins? Mm-hmm. That really shows you, so you can look at Indiana and say, yeah, but 58 right now to 39, that's a big margin in a presidential election.
Right. There's so many states that are going to go the way we expected, but yeah, you said it's the margin. It's also, we won't have that access maybe ourselves to some of these numbers, but it's the exit polling where they're pulling out demographics and being able to apply that to neighboring states and those type of things, which they have some correlation from constant data collecting that they've been doing over these presidential elections. So Still waiting on some of the big swing states. No surprises so far with any of the numbers coming in, any of the calls. So no probabilities changed, no major map or path changes to talk about. So just going to hold tight and keep waiting for those results to roll in.
Yeah, the Senate, I haven't really seen too much on the Senate either. So let us know if you guys see that. You can chat it in our chat window. We got that up, so feel free to chat if you see some news that you want to share that we can share with everybody. Once again, thanks to our sponsors at Patriots Tea Stores. They're sponsoring tonight's program. Visit their store at www.etsy.com/Patriot Tees Store. And Tees is TEES store. And remember to use coupon code MDO 2020 for 10% off. That is Mitchell or Mueller's Day Off 2020. So use that code MDO 2020 for 10% off. One thing I want to get to before we see some more polls close is I was looking at this. There's a lot of talk about, are you voting for Trump? Are you voting against Biden? Are you voting for Biden? Are you voting against Trump? And I don't think that's ever been truer in an election than this time around. We have two candidates that are both over the age of 70. Both you wouldn't say are normally strong candidates of you think as candidates. And I really think Joe Biden is probably more the effect of he's not Trump. He was in the Obama White House, and that's why he's your candidate right now. I think he became a senator. I'm trying to think of when that was. Was it 1978, 77? I can't think of that. That's 6 years before I was born. Besides being out these last 4 years, and really as 2 years, you could say, but he hasn't held office the last 4 years of any type. He's been in politics and had an office longer than I've been alive. And I'm 37 years old. When I saw that come out, I thought that was mind-boggling that he's been in D.C. longer than I've been alive.
Yeah, it's crazy. Those lifetime politicians, they get entrenched. They're hard to get replaced, especially in states like he's from, or Delaware, where they're consistently a blue state. They get entrenched, and then they can take that into the next level, right? He's ran for president several times.
Yeah, I was just gonna look it up. Biden ran for president 3 times in 1988, 2008, and 2020.
And honestly, there was a lot of, in the Democratic primary, there was a lot of candidates that I thought would probably make a better Democratic candidate. I think there was a lot of people with some new ideas.
Pete Buttigieg.
He liked all the not Mayor Pete.
Not Mayor Pete.
Whether or not you liked their ideas, I think they were taking problems that they could see in the country, and they were applying solutions to them, much more so than I think either of tonight's candidates did.
Elizabeth Warren, she wasn't so bad, crazy. She actually had some good ideas.
She had ideas. She saw the problems.
Yeah. Whether she'd actually do it, but she was actually trying to attack some of those problems. She saw the wealth disparity, the elitism. Now you can say she's an elitist too, but at least she tried to run on some of those. I mean, they had some ideas. Have you heard my nickname for Pete Buttigieg?
No.
I probably shouldn't say it. I don't know. We said we're going to try to keep it a PG-13 show, but I mean, you know what Pete Buttigieg is kind of known for, so I'll just leave it as that. So some of the seniority in the Senate, just going through this, you can find this on Wikipedia. Take your guess for the longest current, most senior senator. I'll give you his name, Patrick Leahy, Democrat, Vermont. What year did he become a senator?
I'm gonna just guess. Is it somewhere in the late 70s?
Don't bullshit me.
Middle of 70s.
74?
Nope.
76.
No, 75, which doesn't really line up with
that's a weird senator election number.
Yeah.
It must have been a replacement or special election or something.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
No, so I don't know for sure why it was that. But So seniority there, Patrick Leahy, 1975. That is crazy. And then it's Chuck Grassley, Republican, Iowa, 1981. Still not born yet. 37, still not born yet. And then it's Mitch McConnell, which no surprise. He's the leader of the Senate, majority leader.
And they projected him to win re-election tonight.
Yeah, Kentucky, 1985. Richard Selby, Republican, Alabama. Haven't really heard too much of him. 1987. Feinstein, California, 1992. We're still over 20 years out. Then we go 93, 94, 96, 97, 99. You have 16 senators that were all elected for 2020.
2000.
2000. Sorry, 2000. Yes, 2000. That's astonishing to me. And you have 3 of them that were in the 80s, 1 in the 70s. Just get out. I don't even care about term limits anymore. Just get out. You have other things to do. And I don't want to sound terrible at this, but one of the reasons I think Mike Rounds wasn't doing a lot of campaigning this year is his wife was sick. I think she's very ill with cancer. You can't do your job. You can't be in Washington all the time. Give it up. Let's just move on. The power trip that most of these politicians have is just crazy to stay in power. That it's mind-boggling. Like, I want to retire. 55? Yeah. 50? Hell yes, I'll retire. But they just stay forever and ever. It's just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they get their pension. They get one term, is it? And they get full pension.
One term. And they get full pension. So they're taken care of. So they don't even have to. They can work for the lobbyists' money for years and get super rich, but they are taken care of after one term with health care, and health care that any one of us would just die to have. Well, die to have health care. No pun. No, that's not a pun. But that it's mind-boggling to me. If we go over to the Congress, okay, we're gonna play the game again. Don Young, you ever heard of him? Alaska at large. I can't even say I've heard of him. His leadership position is Dean of the House. Does that mean you're just the oldest of the old guys?
It's just been there so long that you don't want to actually do any chairmanships. You just want to be
Don Young, Dean of the House. So, he doesn't even look that old. I'm looking at a picture of him. Okay, he is older. He was first, and this is another thing. Congress, you run every 2 years. Senators, you run every 6 years. So you get 3 or 4 wins. You're over 20 years.
Yep.
1973. I'm not going to do the math right now. My Nebraska math. That's a lot of re-elections. Okay, Don Young, Alaska at large, March 6, 1973. 73. I'm pretty sure maybe our parents weren't graduated high school by then, if you think about it that way.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then
I'm trying to do the math in my head, but
you're
probably moving past it.
So okay,
this call got Arkansas coming in for the president, which is also not a surprise. So, but he needs to win those. Let's see if there's any sort of margin there. Well, North Carolina with
no call,
but Biden with a 10% lead right now, with 47% in the books.
Yeah, that one's kind of surprising right now. That's a 10%. Once again, you don't know which one. Senate. Tillis is down. That's another thing. So the Senate race is about that same percentage. So we might just be in districts that are that. So Tom Cotton, they're calling him. So the Senate seat comes back for Cotton. Not a surprise there.
Don't even know a picture of his opponent.
Yeah, that's bad with Fox News. I mean, how many people they have working at Fox News? We couldn't even find one person to take 3 minutes and get a picture cut into that graphic. It just shows you're in trouble there. Florida, 88% in. Trump's up about 20 or 223,000 votes right now, 50.7 to 48. So that's, if anybody's watching, listening to Fox News, let us know what's going on there.
I always find it interesting. I haven't looked lately, but to see how different the calls are on different networks, because they do vary quite a bit when they're comfortable making those calls. So let me pull up CNN here and just see what they're saying.
I think our special guest just showed up, and I told him his music is going to be based off Michael Scott from The Office, and I think we're in for a real treat right now. We'll bring him in here in a second. We'll check the calls here quick, and then we'll take a little bit of a music break to bring our special guest Tyler Layton in. And I think they're just saying Arkansas yet. So really they're just talking about Florida. So we aren't experiencing technical difficulties this time. We are just going to get about a 2-minute break. We'll get Tyler set up, and then we'll be back.
Troops, this is an important day, big day. Now, you may look around and see two groups here. White collar, blue collar. But I don't see it that way. You know why not? Because I am collar blind. Boom. Roasted. Bros before hoes. Why? Because your bros are always there for you. They've got your back after your hoe rips your heart out for no good reason. And you were nothing but great to your hoe. And you told her that she was the only hoe for you. And that she was better than all the other hoes in the world. And then suddenly she's not your hoe no mo. I have flaws. What are they? Oh, I don't know. I sing in the shower. Sometimes I spend too much time volunteering. Occasionally I'll hit somebody with my car. So sue me.
Welcome back to Mueller's Day Off Show 2020. Get a sound check here again now that we have more people involved. Welcome to Tyler Lake, Mr. Michael Scott for the evening. I'm glad you dressed to impress.
I'm gonna hang out with two Muellers. I figured I better look the part.
So he's our Michael Scott for the night. Glad to have aboard. Tyler works with my wife at Farm Credit. Full disclosure, maybe it took a trip overseas with him. I don't know. They call Mexico overseas.
You know, I don't think so. We did cross the border, though.
We did cross the border. We kind of flew over a little bit of ocean there for a little bit.
That's
so true. We kind of flew over some overseas area. Just a second, Rick. Sorry. What was your?
Could you drive home?
Yes.
Then it wasn't overseas.
It wasn't overseas. I don't think that's a trip I want to make up to Baja California, though. By any means.
I didn't say that you wanted to. I said, could you?
We could have.
I don't know, Rick. I could actually see John making that trip, like a motorcycle trip or a moped trip, up the Baja Peninsula. I think that might be actually film worthy.
About 45 miles an hour, just puttering along.
Well, so are we going like Dumb and Dumber? Do I have somebody in the back with me?
I think you and Katie should.
Let's do it. Hey, I'm for it. We maybe should start with like Texas though, or something.
Oh no, go big or go home.
Go right.
It sounds like we've already made some 2021 plans.
Yep.
COVID would be a perfect time to do it.
The only thing, John will make sure he needs his sunscreen though.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, I took the plunge. Yeah. People are asking me if I did it by choice. Well, if God making you bald and having to shave your head is a choice, then that's exactly why I did it. So glad to have you aboard Mueller's Day Off Show. Special guest Tyler Lake in studio, Mr. Michael Scott for the evening. Worked on that intro all day for you, so I really hope you liked it. So he dressed the part to go with Michael Scott. Wanted to talk a little bit. Tyler gave us this topic a couple days ago, and I think it's a good topic to talk about. And with Pennsylvania coming to a close here in just about 20 minutes, what's going to happen in Pennsylvania? Trump low on regulation, Biden high on regulation. I think Trump did a really good job of duping him into kind of talking about fracking at the last election. So we'll put you on the spot here, Tyler. What's your thoughts about Pennsylvania?
You know, it's going to be an interesting race. Right now, Joe Biden's up pretty big in the early votes. We're going to have to see. It's going to come down to what do those voters think? Do they want fracking or not? Joe came out in the election, said, "Hey, I'm going to ban it." He's tried to back that off now. We'll have to see. We'll see what comes down, what the voters think. There are some early numbers of Republican registration was very high in Pennsylvania. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the voter turnout is. Right now, Biden's got 285,000 votes to Trump's 66,000.
Oh,
yep. But we've got just a small percentage of the vote in, so 5%.
And in Pennsylvania is going to be one of those linchpins for Trump, just like Florida. Florida's looking good now for Trump. I don't think there's any secret. Probably most of the people that are watching our show tonight probably lean conservative. We lean conservative. I don't think, speaking for Tyler and Rick, that any of us would say that we're huge Trump mega guys, but we lean conservative, and just some of that. So we're a little bit slanted. Obviously I want Trump to win for that, but yeah, if Trump comes in, he wins Florida, he wins Pennsylvania. I'm not saying it's over, but that's going to go a long way filling out the electoral map, and it just shows you what people are thinking, I guess.
Yeah, I think, and look and see what Rick thinks too. But I think it's a domino. It starts with Florida, but then it takes a look at Georgia. Then we got to look at North Carolina. Then it's Pennsylvania, Ohio, and then he's got to have one of Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or Michigan.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing to think about, that he did all the stuff you just talked about, and he still needs one of the other ones. He still needs one of those Wisconsin, Michigans to fall his way. And that's just crazy that you need that many states.
Not only that, Iowa's got to break his way as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Iowa's got 6, I think.
Yep.
Six. So, yeah, I really think Pennsylvania, they went Obama. I think both years for Obama. Then Trump won them the last time around. And I think, how many people are going to change your vote in Pennsylvania? How many people are going to say, you know what, Trump didn't do exactly what I thought he was going to do this time around? And how many people changed it? I guess you could say that registration for the Democrats, but as we've seen in Pennsylvania and kind of heard the numbers, registration's up for Republicans in Pennsylvania, not necessarily Democrats. So we'll have to see how that falls.
Interesting numbers out of Michigan as well right now. Trump does have a lead there. He's a not quite 100,000 vote lead there. So if he does lose Pennsylvania, he definitely has to win in Michigan, and then we'll see what happens in Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin, once again, those dang freaking cheeseheads. They ruin everything. They ruined our football game this weekend. Nebraska was supposed to play Wisconsin, and I think they were just down to their 4th-string quarterback and didn't want to face the powerhouse that is Nebraska. So we're just going to say we had a COVID outbreak.
Well, they're also ducking Purdue this week. So
are they really? That's already been
Yep.
canceled.
Yep.
Oh boy. So Wisconsin, let's do something right and vote for Trump.
Was it Wisconsin that they had the poll last week there was one poll that had Biden up 17
Yeah,
points?
yeah. It was the ABC News poll that said Biden up by 17. Now, Trump won Wisconsin, right? He won Wisconsin last time around. That's fake news. Let's face it. You're not going to be up 17 on a state that you won or down 17 on a state that you won the last time around.
You wouldn't think so.
A couple of late breaking stories today too was Nevada, Arizona switching out of the Joe Biden camp more towards Trump. So that'll be something to watch as the night goes on.
Yeah, Arizona's a big one too.
Yep.
He can definitely make up some if he doesn't win on the East Coast. Arizona could be a big win.
In my early map, I had West Virginia breaking towards Biden, and Trump handily won that.
Yep.
What was your guys' take on that?
I had West Virginia for Biden.
I had it for Trump. Just historically, kind of thought that was the way it was going to go.
But that's one of those too that the polls and all that really were favoring Biden, and really, everybody thought that was one that was going to be in play, and they really wanted you to believe that was the case.
Yeah, that was not reported as in play. That was it. That was actually strong blue. Leaning Biden.
Not even in play.
And it went strong. Trump.
What were the numbers on that? Are they pretty high so far? I mean, they call it right away. Is that one of those that they did early?
Only 41% of the votes in. But Trump's got 63% of that vote. 204,000 votes to 115,000.
So there's an interesting tool. I'll try to keep up with it. It keeps refreshing my page on 538.com, where you can start giving the wins in certain states, and then it goes back through their models and then figures out kind of more of an adjusted percentage of who can win. So I think I'll try to keep that up to date too as we go through here and mark some of these. But it's pretty interesting. I was playing with it leading up to this. You start giving states like Pennsylvania and Florida, and then some of the other states that maybe were a little bit more in question become very strong Trump just because of the polling.
It played off. It played off of
if the polling is this bad in Pennsylvania and Florida that it goes Trump, then you can expect that there's probably that much air in some of these other states, and you started seeing a lot of momentum. You start seeing a lot of momentum building up through that.
Well, they always talk about momentum leading in the election, and you'd have to say Trump had that in his rally. And they also talk about the president in office, what his approval rating is. I don't think they said a president has ever lost his second term with an approval rating over 50%. And, Trump's always kind of hovered right around that 50%. Now, I think some of the latest polls have him below 50, but that's one of those things you got to look at what you believe in that case as well. They're showing Ohio right now, Fox News. Biden up by 10, 54.9 to 43.9. What does it say? How much of the vote is
53, 53% of the vote is in there. This is a tight race, 400,000 votes.
Yeah.
Not even 400,000.
So polls closing soon. Arizona, Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin.
North Dakota actually has already pumped in some numbers there. 7% of the vote in there. No surprise, Donald Trump in the lead.
Yep. So we'll keep watching that as we go on through the night. Glad to have you aboard here. Thanks for watching us. You can turn Fox News on and listen to us. Put it on mute. If you want to call into the show, 605-990-9080. Once again, Patriot. We should call it the Patriots Tea Store hotline. Call into the Patriots Tea Store. We only have one sponsor, so they have to be the show sponsor, the hotline sponsor. They have to do it all. So Patriots Teas Store, www.etsy.com/Patriot Teas Store. Rick's new apparel line. Never thought of anything that you'd be an apparel guy. Never thought that was going to be your real calling in life.
Something to try.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy because when I see Rick, I see model. So it makes perfect sense to me.
Well, I appreciate that. It's deep down, I think you're right.
I mean, it might be the full-figured male line, but I mean, it works.
Yep.
Hey, that's a lot of body figures. So, we've been getting a card collecting, so I got a couple cards in the mail that my daughter just put here. So we'll have to open these up quick. So, a thing that I wanted to talk about, COVID-19. It's been a big topic. Nobody probably wants to talk about it anymore. We just talked about a little bit, Tyler, before he got here, how Florida, the young vote has actually been going towards Trump because they don't want to be locked down. And some of the elderly vote has been going towards Biden because they do want stricter regulations. At the end of the day, does COVID really play a big part of this election, do you think?
I think, John, I think we're going to find out as the night goes on. If we see if Joe Biden runs away with this, I think COVID-19 is going to be a major factor. Numbers out of Georgia, exit polls coming out of Georgia, same thing. People there actually in a large margin favored outside mask rules, requiring masks even outside of a building. It was like 60-40. Which I thought was pretty surprising there. I mean, Trump is ahead, yet it's a very, very tight race. And there again, but opposite, seniors heavily voted for Trump. If you look to Europe, we look in France, Germany, we started seeing riots over lockdowns or going back into lockdowns, Italy as well. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting thing. It's one of those deals we're going to probably have to be careful what we wish for.
Yeah, and Trump talked a lot about the vaccine, and I think he kind of put some false hope on there the last couple of weeks that, the vaccine, we're a couple of weeks off from having that. And I think that was all a political play. I don't think the vaccine's that close. I think that was all of a thing for him. He's not ever going to be strong in the mask and that thing because he's too far gone the other way. So he had to play in this vaccine. If you kind of read some of the stuff with the vaccines, it doesn't really sound like it's all that close, but he came out there with their plan. And what do they call that? Operation Cobra Strike Fast?
Warp Speed.
Warp Speed. Yeah.
Yeah. Even South Dakota Secretary of Health, I think at her press conference last week cited the November 15th date that they want the states to all have a plan in place for the vaccine, which is good to get a plan in place, but that is not the time frame when they're going to see the vaccines. No. I don't think from anything I've read that'll be even close.
No, I don't think Operation Warp Speed will be till at least next January, February, till we turn the calendar. And
for the most part, even after those vaccines are approved, it's not going to be you or I or who are going to be getting those vaccines. It's going to be starting with the healthcare workers, which it definitely should be, but it's not like these things are going to flood to the point where it's going to be everybody getting them within a couple months.
And then I think mostly all the vaccines that I've heard about, it's the initial shot and then a booster. So you're not just talking about one vaccine you got to make. You got to double that. And then we're talking hundreds of millions of vaccines have to be made. And I'm sure as the United States that will help out other countries too with probably essential workers before we turn to our whole population, just because that's what we seem to do. You guys got any topics you want to talk about? I don't want to pick them. I don't want to pick them all tonight. Or if you got a topic you want to talk about in the chat room, throw it out that way. Also, if you see any numbers that we can pass along to the group, or you want to call in 605-990-9080. We just asked you to keep it PG-13. Mamba for Life, love the content. Hitting subscribe. I don't know who Mamba for Life is, but thank you. Mamba for Life. Mamba, that'd be a Kobe Bryant
That'd
reference.
be a Kobe Bryant fan.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we do
like snakes.
Yeah.
or a big snake fan.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. We like either. We love Kobe Bryant. We
Tolerate steak.
you guys see in the yard. So we're hoping it's a Kobe Bryant fan. Interesting topic about Kobe Bryant. I found a Kobe Bryant rookie card in my stash of cards from when I was a kid. And I think I can get like $600-700 for it on eBay right now.
Nice.
And I still have the sticker on it.
Sick
where
brag, dude.
What's that?
Sick brag.
Yeah, sick brag. And the sticker actually says on it $12. So young me really knew what the hell I was doing buying that card at a card show for $12. So little disclaimer though, it actually might be Ryan's. I don't remember buying it, but I kind of inherited all his cards. But I mean, he's probably not listening because he hates us and he hates what we do. So I'm just calling it mine and I'm going to sell it. So. But do you sell it now, or do you? Is he a Hall of Fame member, or is he going to get enshrined?
Yeah, I'd hold on to that.
Hold on to that.
I'll hold on to it for you, John.
You got that big safe at your house.
Just trust me.
Yeah.
Not going anywhere.
John, I think that you guys should have breaking news here, and I think you should call Florida for Trump.
You think we should call it for? Well, I was going to get a breaking news sounder out, but I didn't find one. We'll have to play around with what we find.
We need to find the.
You think it's safe to drink from a fire hose?
The Anchorman.
The Anchorman breaking news. I'll look for it. You guys talk about something. We'll find it so
Rick,
we can do
Did you see those numbers out of Miami-Dade?
I did not.
It's amazing. Trump has received more votes in Miami-Dade than Hillary Clinton did last year.
Oh.
And Hillary Clinton won that county, obviously the largest county in Florida. Yep. Huge deal. Historically, Panhandle is the last two votes to come in Florida. And look at that. We're just behind Fox News on probability.
We're ahead of them. You said that before it came up there. If you're listening to this, folks, you heard this. Tyler had the scoop before Fox News. Nice. I mean, they were at commercial because they said they couldn't say it. But, I mean, you were about 30 seconds ahead of them. They are saying, ooh, that's bad, though.
That is bad news there.
Trump is 93% probability. This is the first year I've ever seen him do probabilities like this. Yeah. But 93% probability for Trump and Florida, so that's good news. But North Carolina,
and that is actually the 73% of the vote in North Carolina. It's only 200,000 vote difference. Obviously, Joe Biden in the lead, but they're obviously predicting that is going to fall his way. That's a big blow to Trump's reelection campaign.
I did not have that one going to Biden. I thought North Carolina.
That's 15 electoral votes. That pushes a greater emphasis on Ohio,
Pennsylvania. Now you got to win. Now you got to win two of those.
You need two of those. You definitely need an Arizona, Nevada. You're going to need those western states.
Wow, that is crazy. They're talking about a little bit closer on Fox News now, where the county breakdown in the precinct by precinct and county, just not looking good for Trump there. Boy, I can't find this sounder. You want the breaking news sounder, right? That's what you're looking for. You should have told me this before we went live on the air, like a day ago.
Well, I'm not the brains of this operation, clearly. Oh, let's see here.
So Ohio, Biden's still up there, but that's 55% in. Well, we'll try to find that. Next poll is coming up in 3 minutes. Give us a call, 605-990-9080 if you want to be a part of the program. Otherwise, we might have to make some calls later on to people if nobody calls in. That's crazy. North Carolina, not good news there. I mean, that's probably – I mean, we thought Florida was probably going to go to Trump. I mean, if you were a betting man, you said Florida was going to go to Trump, just the way the numbers have been.
To.
Yeah, it had to.
If there's any chance, otherwise this was a runaway for Joe Biden. We could call the race right now.
Did most polls have? I wonder how much they had Biden up in North Carolina.
I'd have to look that up. I don't know.
Come
for
on,
sure.
Rick, you're our.
Well,
Rick is in charge of all polls.
I had to switch over to not use your Wi-Fi because I could not get anything to load. So
Okay, Rick, I might have found that sound clip for you.
stop what you're doing.
I have some very urgent and important breaking news. Cannonball!
That's not the one.
That's not the news you were looking
No.
for.
I believe it was something like.
I have some very urgent and important
Not this one
breaking
either.
news. Cannonball!
Dang it. Well, I'll keep working on it then. That's a disappointment. Well, we can do like the BBC news headline. You want that? I mean, that's a pretty classic one. You want to use BBC? Hey, they make good programming.
I love it.
They make. We can only get some U.S. Programming like that. So our first call of the night, the Muellers Day Off 2020, the first controversial call. We are giving Florida. Yes, we're giving Florida to Donald Trump. So that is good. 29 electoral votes, like we said. Now North Carolina out of it too. That really makes Pennsylvania. I mean, Pennsylvania
It's a must win.
must win again. I mean, it goes from and I did Trump really didn't do much campaigning in North Carolina. I didn't know that he made too many stops here the last 2-3 weeks in North Carolina. I'm trying to remember if I saw it. But that
Just sent you the link to the sounder I want.
well, what'd you send it to
To
me?
your phone.
I don't have my email up. I don't have anything up.
Just okay.
This is good programming here.
And now we're going to switch to the portion of the tech help
Yeah.
for our older users.
Type in Ron Burgundy. Stop what you're doing.
Ron Burgundy. Are you Leo Laporte? Because I can't stand that guy. The
What?
tech guy, Leo Laporte,
Oh,
WNX. He used to have a TV show. Remember that? There used to be a station. Was it called like Tech TV or something? Way
I
back
think
in
it
the
had a lot of different names.
way back in the day.
30 seconds away for some
Ladies and
more
gentlemen,
polls
can I
closing.
please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
Well, we could get rid of the cannon.
Ladies and-
part, but
Yeah, we could get rid of that. But so that part. So we'll redo the call. We are calling Florida, and we are 2 seconds away from polls closing. We'll see right away. Usually get a lot of states right away. There'll be some calls, I'm sure. When do we close? Are we closing now? We close at 8, or we close at 7.
7
7.
So we've already
7 Eastern. I think the West, the Mountain Time Zone people are closing now, I believe.
So Arizona's a big one here. Of course, they're not calling that like we didn't expect them to call Arizona. This is riveting.
So I'm hoping to see some, now that the polls are closed West River, hopefully we can see some results here from the state or local elections.
Mamba for Life said blame the North Carolina loss on the baby blue sports blazer, which I don't I don't agree with at all. But Life must be a Duke fan.
Sounds like a Tar Heel hater.
Where did Kobe Bryant go to college at?
Most
He
likely,
did go
probably
to
someone
college.
that's with low basketball IQ.
Bird.
Probably from Iowa then. Wisconsin, 10 votes. That one is closed, but too early to call. Brinley, you want to come in here for a second? You want to come here? All right.
Michigan's still looking pretty good for the president.
Brinley's been banging on the door. Oh, now she got shy and she's not going in there. She was going to come in and say, Minnesota. You know what? I honestly think Minnesota is going to go Trump.
Ooh.
Call me crazy.
I think
That
you're
is
crazy.
that is my call out there. Everybody I've talked to, work-wise, Louisiana called. Not a surprise there. I think you could have called that one as soon as the polls opened up this morning. You want to come here and sit on my lap a little bit? Okay.
No, Nebraska just called for Trump.
All 5 of them?
Is it all 5 though?
Yeah. Rick, you want to explain how Nebraska does
South
there?
Dakota,
South Dakota.
North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Nebraska, all
All
called
called?
for Trump.
Rick, you want to say to those people that don't know how Nebraska works?
Yeah, so Nebraska, they do a split. They give, two delegates to the statewide winner, and then they give one delegate to each of the three congressional districts in the state.
Yeah, and so District 2, is that Omaha, I believe?
Yes.
That's the one that's always up for it, and that's why Trump made that trip to Omaha where the people stayed out in the cold and were taken to the hospital. Newsflash, people from Nebraska are used to being out in the cold in the end of October. I don't think any Nebraskan went to the hospital because they had to stay out in the cold a little bit longer than they're supposed to.
And if they would have been prepared.
Exactly.
It's not like it came out of nowhere.
Some big wins for Joe Biden. New Mexico, not surprising, but that one's being called for Joe Biden. New York, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
Electoral College numbers, 119 for Joe Biden to 92 for Donald Trump.
Whoa. Yeah.
Interesting stat here. Popular vote, Trump is up in the popular 50.6% to 48%.
And that all comes down to till California.
Until California.
California. We're always winning until California comes in play, and then it's that just shows you why the electoral college is so vital to our country. If you want the flyover country to have no say whatsoever in your country, get rid of the electoral college, because it's pretty much going to be New York and California running the show. I mean, we have Texas. I mean, the Republicans have Texas a little bit, but Texas is not what it used to be either. And you wonder how many more years of people migrating out of California into Austin and those other areas that, Texas. And that's another. I mean, if Texas falls the way of the Democrats, that might be game over too.
Yeah, you got 56% of the vote in Texas. Joe Biden is up by about 100,000 votes, but heavily favored in the early voting. Obviously, that all broke Joe Biden's way. I don't think that there's much in question there. Interesting, Kansas right now. Very tight race, 52% versus 46% for Donald Trump. So Biden's in the lead there, but it's a 30,000 vote difference. Colorado coming in, leaning heavy towards Joe Biden right now.
Yeah. So Heckenlooper defeats Gardner for the CO Senate race, or Colorado Senate race. I don't think that was really a big. Maybe it was a surprise. I don't think that was too big a surprise there.
That brings our total 42 Democrats, 38 Republicans right now.
So Republicans got a lot of, and the Republicans had a lot of seats up. That's the other thing you got to look at. This was their turn in the election cycle to have a lot more seats in play. That usually is kind of on a rotation basis. So, in a few years, the Democrats will have, quite a few seats up too. So, boy, that'd be crazy if it's a sweep across the board. And that's never good. I mean, as a Republican Democrat, I think you always want that one Congress, Senate, president to always be the other party. I just, you need that check and balance.
So the Argus leader, they're calling the Senate seat to rounds. Early reporting in on the ballot of measures, Amendment A, Amendment A, that is losing 52 to 47% with 3% reporting, so still early on. Medical marijuana is up 66 to 33%, also the same 3%. And Deadwood sports betting is up 55 to 44% as these early results come in.
Interesting. It'd be fun to track those throughout the night, see how everything looks. And no surprise on the Senate race. I don't think we're in for any shockers.
No.
It'll come down to what these constitutional amendments. Yep. That will be interesting to follow.
Sure. Yeah, there's not much danger of at least at this time in history of Republicans losing a statewide election in the state of South Dakota. So let's see here. Do you have some numbers on water's fine. So let's see here, digging in.
polls in Iowa open late. They are open until 9 o'clock.
Interesting. That is late. So what were your thoughts today on the voting situation here in Davidson County with our single polling location?
Yeah, I heard that was an interesting deal. I've first thing I want to shout out Hanson County. I live in Hanson County.
Sure.
Those folks did a fantastic job. I actually took part in. We did a lot of mail-in ballots there. My wife and I voted that way. Went without a flaw, no issues there. Big shout out to the Hanson County staff there, and then all the volunteers. They did a fantastic job. Now, Davidson County looks like we might have had a kind of the reverse of that, and a little bit of a mess with the one polling place this year.
Yeah, like you said, I think the volunteers did a great job, and I mean, I got through pretty quickly. Well, definitely longer than I've ever had to wait to vote, for sure. But just an interesting choice, and I'd like to kind of at some point understand why that choice was made for a county the size of Davidson to have one polling place. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Hanson had 4 polling places.
I thought that was an odd choice too, during COVID anyways, with the heightened awareness around that, to go to one spot, to bring everybody into one area. Yeah, I know there sound like there was maybe reports that I heard there's some issues too with some folks not being on the master roll there, long lines, and just kind of a little bit of a mess.
Well, and we moved out of the same county, but moved out of the town of Mitchell a few years ago, filled out a bunch of paperwork to get to our new address where we vote, and get there today. And, I looked on the state, and people do this before you go vote, go to the Secretary of State's website, and it's real easy to find. You fill out your first, last name, date of birth, our social security number. You put that in, they tell you where you vote. What precinct you're in. It just saves so much time when you get there. You don't have to look at the master book. But anyway, I was precinct 20, had no idea. Get up there, they still had our old address in town. So obviously something got lost in translation there. They still let me vote. Heard other stories where people were not allowed to vote if they were not in the right precinct. But luckily that guy there just said, you're voting for the same thing no matter what. It's all the same ballot for Davidson County. So he just let me go ahead and vote there. But kind of one of those moments like, well, what the heck's going on? So I think somebody Tyler, actually had the experience where they wouldn't let him, where he was registered, but they didn't have him.
Yeah, they were turned away. They ended up having to go down to the courthouse, sort it all out.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Didn't know. Yeah, we're not actually making another call at all.
Who's running those controls?
Well, I haven't done it in 4 years. This is we'll have to start doing it more often. And I'm going to see if we can get Susan Kipke, the Davidson County auditor. I think, though, when you call somebody like that, if you cold call them, don't you have to tell them they're being recorded?
That I would say is just a good standard.
Yeah, I don't think we need to practice any gotcha journalism.
Yeah. Maybe just, if we want to be legit, we just say, hey.
I mean, I don't want to tell you how to conduct your personal life, but if you're calling a lot of people and just recording those calls, probably a new philosophy would be to let them know that you are recording those calls.
Yeah. And anybody that's talked to John recently, he'll be reading them.
Yeah. We will now see if John's phone lights up with any worried folks.
No, I mean, somebody's got to have Susan Kipke's number that I know, right? I mean, it's like the 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon in a small town like Mitchell. I mean, that's got to be like
you definitely know someone.
It's got. So it'll be.
I don't think tonight would be a good night to call her, but
no, I think she's probably got other things. All in one place. So I was thinking about this. They have about 10 boxes there because they had 2 precincts were coming together for one box where you actually slide your ballot into. I mean, how long can that take? You got one machine. I mean, do they have to break them? I mean, I don't know how it all works, but
then you get I think you get the fact right where if a ballot gets kicked out of the machine,
then they both have to review it.
Both sides have to review it,
and so the Democrat or Republican, you always have to. There have to be the same number of Democrats and Republicans registered that are working the polling station. Is that correct? I thought that was how it works.
I'm not sure.
Maybe I'm wrong in that, but I thought that is what you had to have the same number. I know that there's representatives from both parties watching the counts and all that stuff, but I'd heard that somewhere, and I thought that was maybe the case of how you had to do that, but I could be wrong on that. Our alcoholic drink for the night is High West whiskey. Tyler actually introduced me to this. It's a double rye. Great whiskey. It's a Utah, right? You actually
Utah. That is made in Utah. Excellent, cool brewery. If you ever get a chance to go there, it's a really interesting place to go check out.
Yeah, they have a couple of different types of whiskey that are both pretty good. This is the double rye, so we're gonna drink a little whiskey water tonight. At least I am. I don't know if anybody else will, but I'm probably alcoholic in the group. So, cheers.
We kind of think the night will get more interesting though. More of those whiskey waters we can.
Yeah. People say that about me. I might not be a good time now, but just wait for a little bit, and I will be a good time later.
Muellers Day Off after dark. It'll be very interesting.
Mamba for Life said, pour him another drink. I don't know who Mamba for Life is, but they must know me and know that I'm more fun when I drink. All right. Calls. If anybody,
I think Mamba for Life should call in.
Yeah, Mamba for Life.
Big on the chat.
And it would
Let's get him on the call.
It'd be fun because we'd have no idea who he actually is until, I don't know. Is there a way I am probably the worst person for YouTube and Facebook. I don't know if can I like click on his, I don't want to mess anything up. We've already had one technical difficulty for the night. I don't want to do that. We'll have to look for Mamba for Life. Mamba for Life, give us a clue, like who you are, like just some kind of clue, and we'll see if we can guess it.
It's not one of your brother-in-laws, is it?
My brother-in-laws? I don't think so. One of the topics I had that I want to talk about, since this is the most important election of our lifetime or any other lifetime that there's ever been.
Once again, the most.
And you can find one of those T-shirts, right, Rick? That one's available. That's at patriottees.com, etsy.com/Patriot Tees store. The most important election shirt is out there, ready to be purchased. Use MDO 2020 for 10% off tonight. No, I want to talk about
also available in a sweatshirt.
Also,
and no matter what happens tonight, no matter if Trump wins or Biden wins, why not walk away with a great T-shirt?
Exactly.
To remember the special evening.
I just got a text. Maybe this is Mamba for Life. Nope, I don't think that is. We could actually call my buddy from Portland, who he actually, Marcus Swift, if anybody know him. He actually ran for election. Just moved out to Portland. It's like the Dells out there. Isn't that where you ended the Oregon Trail? I was always going to ask him that. Where did you end the Oregon Trailer if you didn't get syphilis or one of those things and die? Cholera. Maybe it was cholera and die.
Doesn't it end in California? Don't you come over the valley looking out into California?
Maybe it is. I always thought it was Oregon, but yeah, because he has, I'm probably all messed up on that. Rick Kelly said we should link the sponsor in the chat. I mean, that's probably what we should do. Can you do that? You can link your own sponsorship.
I got it. I'm on it.
Yeah. No, so where we were going before we got sideways on that, with the most important election, there's all this talk, and I think that's what really scares me.
Interesting thing. Minnesota, if you're watching the live votes come in, just switched from blue to red. So Trump just took a small lead there. I mean, it's 1% of the vote in. If this has been leading Biden. Now it jumped red. It's kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, I told you. Everybody's calling me crazy. We have sister-in-law Kelly on here said Minnesota will not NOT go Trump. So
I would, if I was a betting man, I think I would agree.
Yeah.
Of course, she also thought the Gophers were going to be good this year.
Yep. 0-2. No, will Democrats pack the court? Will they add states? Will they change electoral? I can't even say that tonight. So we're just going to say electoral college. That's what has me worried. It's not so much that I'm ever worried about a candidate or a party getting in there. I always think the more they do is the more harmful that they will cause for the country. I'm for a good stalemate in Washington for most things. There's stuff that always needs to get passed, like the farm bill and all that kind of stuff. But I think that gets passed no matter what. But, if it happens that the Democrats win tonight, there's probably a pretty good chance they could have the Senate and the House of Representatives. Do they try to push that stuff through, or were that's all just Republican scare tactics in your minds? I'll let you go first, Tyler.
Oh, first to me. Well, I think great question. So here's the deal, right? With this being Joe Biden's party, Joe Biden in control here. We got to see what happens to this.
Did you say Joe or Jill?
Joe.
Okay, I thought maybe you said Jill.
With this being Joe Biden's party, we got to see first it's going to come down to the Senate. Who controls the Senate? What kind of majority do we have there? The nice thing about Joe Biden is he's been in politics for 35 plus years. And we know that you can trust him for one thing, and that's to not do what he says.
Sure.
So I think that is the one hope. They are strongly running on the fact that that's what they're going to do. They're going to add states. They're going to change the rules. They're going to sort of devalue the court system, possibly pack it, possibly change some of the rules around how we legislate and what laws can be looked at. So if we take them at their word, I think that's very scary. It's fundamentally change 250 years of a pretty darn good country.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not a perfect country, and that's what kind of bugs me about all this rhetoric the last 3 or 4 months. We're not a perfect country. I mean, we had slavery, the civil rights movement, women voting. We haven't been a perfect country, but in my mind, where we're sitting now, we've righted a lot of those wrongs, and maybe some people don't agree with that, but we are a pretty damn good country, and we've done stuff right, and we're a damn young country. I mean, some of these European countries have been around forever. We're the great experiment, and I think we're doing a pretty damn good job. Rick, over to you.
Yeah, so I always find it funny when these rules that have been in place and these practices have been in place for such a long period of time, whenever one party or the other seems to be majorly disadvantaged from it, how they want to change the rules. And it seems, especially on the left, that seems to be the thing, is they want to change it. They want to pack the courts, which they have a history of doing with FDR. They talk about getting rid of the electoral college. They talk about the disparity of how electoral college, every state gets these automatic 2 votes for the Senate, for the senators. How that makes some votes worth more than others, and they go on to the swing states, and how they claim that the swing states are deciding the elections, which they come down to the last ones, but there's a lot of other votes that have to get them to the 240 mark or whatever to get to the swing states mattering. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of sour grapes. I think, especially in the court packing thing. I think that, and if you look at some of the results, they've already had. I think there's been some surprising decisions already by the justices that Trump has put in. It's not like they're just trampling and running roughshod over everything. They still seem to be pretty balanced, and it happens all the time. If you go back in history and look at the justices that get nominated, they may start out as being, hey, they're this conservative, but before they're done, they flip over to be more liberal.
John Roberts,
or the other side. So. The fact that
Obamacare,
that they're just all
it's a tax, John.
they're so
obviously
they're so wound up about it is I think it's mostly a fear tactic. I think, because I just don't think it's as big of a deal as they make it out to be.
I think it's a big deal if you want to have the judicial branch be able to create law,
right?
And that's the thing. I think that's why, as conservative judges are put in there, they don't do that. Mm-hmm. So it's not really, you're not going to see conservative law or rules being put into place by the Supreme Court. They don't believe in that. Right. So it's all got to come through the legislative branch. And I think there's a lot of fear mongering there that's out of place. Now, if it goes the other way and you had 7 liberal members on there, it could be a little scary on what happens there, depending on who those people are and how far they want to take things. But
you got, and like you said, kind of the party that's always trying to change or say that they're going to change is a Democratic Party. Conservatives are always going to be, especially conservative judges, are going to stick to the Constitution. And that's just the nature. Right or wrong or indifferent, that's kind of going to be how they're going to play it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
They are calling the Congress to retain Democratic control. So not a real surprise there, but Fox News just called, and so will the Muellers Day Off show. The House of Representatives will stay majority Democratic, at least majority. How much does supermajority matter? And I mean, in the Senate, it makes a big difference. How much does it matter in Congress? I guess I don't have the answer for that.
Not that big of a deal.
Not that big a deal.
No.
It's you just want that
holding
majority.
That majority in the Senate, it's so crucial because of things like the Supreme Court.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
But now we have the straight up majority because of the rules that the Democrats changed the last time. So usually most of those supermajority rules come in effect in the Senate.
So not a big thing there where they already had it. We're kind of guessing that they already would keep it. So that is the story. So we got a few. Matt Lindgren says Leighton looking sharp in that blazer. I'm not sure who Matt Lindgren is, a buddy of yours.
Thank you, Matt. I'll tomorrow at work I can tell you about my tailor.
That's custom fitted, of course, with nothing less. The other thing,
and John, Minnesota has now switched back. So we had a 2% vote. We had a glimmer of hope there for you for your bold prediction tonight that Minnesota's going to go Trump.
Dang it! No, there's so many people that were sick of the riots and all that stuff in there. But I guess those people I probably talked to have already probably leaned more conservative in the industry I work in. So probably shouldn't have used that as a point of context. I'm glad to have you aboard. Oh, go ahead.
Still very early. Pennsylvania not looking good for Trump. 462% to 37%.
And I haven't seen a favorability thing for Trump yet for that. But
now Ohio, some of the areas that the precincts that have not turned in are a little bit dangerous. But this is a very tight race. 51% to 48%. For Biden, but this thing is close. We shall see. That's a crucial state. No Republicans ever won presidency without carrying Ohio.
Yeah, Republicans have to go through Ohio or else it's over. We wanted to talk about this a little bit. Maybe it's too early to talk about this, but they keep talking about the fallout from the election. Riots and what happens next. You talk about that beforehand. It seems like a thing that could happen and all that kind of stuff. But as you get into the moment, it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. The closer we get to going one way or the other, it just doesn't seem to me like now that we're in it, we're the night of, we're getting these results. Do you really think there's going to be rioting in the streets tomorrow, one way or the other, more than there already has been in the last couple of months?
I think, in my opinion, I think it depends largely on the circumstances of the election. I think a landslide or a clear definitive victory one way or the other, I think lessens it.
Makes you look silly if you're out there doing it, and when either candidate looks.
I think if Trump wins, there will be a lot of people who voted blue that will be out of their minds, whether that makes them want to riot or not, at least right away. I'm not sure. I think the real danger is as if there's any sort of hint that Trump can go with, or that his supporters think that he got robbed, screwed, fraud, anything like that. And I think if something like that happens, I think you could see a very energetic response from his base.
Mom Before Life, clue number 1, he was bummed that Wisconsin was too scared to travel to Lincoln. So that narrows it down to one of our maybe 75 cousins that we have, if you count both sides. Mom being one of 15, Dad being one of 9 if it's a cousin. Andrew wants to know more about thoughts on North Carolina going Biden.
Very tight race. 50.4 to 48.5. This thing's been close. Ever since we saw Fox News put up the probability rate they said, I think 89% chance of Biden. The thing's gotten closer. Trump's actually made up ground there. We'll see. Obviously, they can see some information that we can't, that we don't have access to.
Right.
Or they're making projections based on the counties that are not in. But this thing is razor thin. 81% of the vote in. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
for what it's worth, Barstool Sports calling Florida and Georgia for Donald Trump.
Barstool Sports. Who's their political advisor? I wonder at Barstool Sports. That's
the El Prez himself is making those calls on Twitter. They're also posting live odds. They're posting betting odds for the race. This thing's gotten tight. The odds of it's coming down to a neck and neck race. So for those of us that are placing bets.
Yeah, we talked about that too. About are you going to be one of those age 21 through 55 that will be racing out to spearfish as soon as they get the sports wagering in place?
Great transition. Is that going to pass tonight? Rick, do you have an update for us?
I do have an update. With 11% in, the sports betting is up 55% to 44.6%. Legalized marijuana is now winning 51 to 48. And legalized medical marijuana still has a very wide margin of 68 to 31.
And I'm glad to see that. I for one am glad to see that. I don't see, like we talked about earlier, any reason that you can't use a natural substance to cure an illness or a disease, or we get people, we make chemicals that we really have no idea what they might do to somebody and put in somebody's body that are manufactured. I don't get what the big deal about taking a plant. I mean, a lot of people use essential oils. There's not a whole lot of difference between essential oils and using a little marijuana.
Were you guys surprised? Kristi Noem came out with an advertising campaign against it. Against
really?
Both amendments right here at the end.
Really?
Basically, essentially promising that she had made promises that she would do everything she could to not legalize marijuana use in the state.
And was it against the medical one as well?
Both amendments.
I mean,
no, both.
Yeah. And I really think as governor, stay out of it. Stay out of it. You really don't have to have you have to have a horse in the race at that point when it's coming down to a vote. I don't think that's your job, and I don't think you should stick your neck in there like that.
Well, it's I think there's a lot of people at that level in the state government who are probably very disappointed the fact that they are ballot measures and not just something that they're going to have control over. I think that's probably part of the reason why the one is actually going in as an amendment,
right? Not
just as a measure, because they, for instance, I think a few years ago they had the anti-corruption stuff that passed.
Yes.
The ballot initiative, but as soon as the legislatures got back to here, they overturned it and replaced it with something with a lot less teeth.
And that's an important thing to remember. An amendment, they have to act on that and put that in the South Dakota Constitution. An amendment goes right in. If the people vote on that, initiated measure can still be turned down by. Well, they can repeal it. They can repeal it.
Yeah, it's just a regular law.
Yeah, they can vote at the next session in. So, no, I sports betting makes a lot of sense to me. We talked about it earlier. I don't see a lot of reasons against it. Medical marijuana, recreational. Like I said, the libertarian part of me says it's probably okay, but I just don't want to see it in our state yet. But that's just how I vote and how I see it. So
insider information as given on the sports betting, they would assume then here very quickly if sports betting, which would then allow us to partake a little bit more.
Yeah. So the way they do it in Iowa, and I hope it's here, you have to register at the casino in person, and then you'll be able to take it throughout the whole state. So I hope that's the case. And even better if we didn't have to go to Deadwood to register.
And I think with that in mind, I think there's several people like down in the Omaha region. They have the app on their phone. They drive across the river to Council Bluffs, make their bets from and drive home. So
yeah. No, they said some of the bridges between Nebraska, South Dakota, and Iowa are some of the busiest bridges the last couple of years last year. And we had a big trip planned to go over to Grand Falls right before COVID hit, and that kind of killed our sports betting. Got a few comments out there. Chris Burr, maybe, looking good. Layton, Iowa going red.
So there we got a bold prediction there from the chat box. Big news here too. Texas just flipped to Donald Trump.
Nice.
Andrew Tramp says, I think the biggest impact tonight will come down to the control of the Senate. And that's
very true.
That's very true. I mean, a president can do so much. Oh, whoa. We're not. Once again, the control guy. who gave him High
Cut
West
him
whiskey?
off.
Who gave
Not
him
High West.
Who gave him High West? But yeah, that's true. I mean, the Senate has the most power. You're talking Supreme Court, all that stuff. That's the same thing. If it goes Biden and the Senate goes, you can get a lot done. And different than Republicans. Republicans can take control of all three and not get anything done. They're very good at not being able to agree on anything and not making it happen. Democrats, very good if they have all three about getting stuff done.
Yeah, no secret. Big difference in the parties, right? Republicans kind of a tentpole party, lots of split goals in decision making going on there. Democrats very locked in, can do a good job of becoming lockstep on especially certain issues.
Yeah. The Republicans will always have that Mitt Romney type out there that will just not go along just to not go along.
Back to the legalized marijuana. Little bit of some county level reporting that we're getting in, and I just thought this was kind of fun to share. But no surprise that two of the counties so far that are reporting that are heavily leaning towards legalizing marijuana are Brookings County and Clay County.
There's some breaking news.
yeah. We're
Gentlemen,
we're
can I
18
please
to
have your
22
attention?
and we want to smoke weed and
I've
not
just
get in
been
trouble
handed
for
an
it.
urgent
Yeah,
and
could you smoke in the
horrifying
dorms
news
at that
story.
point?
Probably
I need
not.
all of you
I
to
would assume
stop
it would
what
probably
you're doing
be
and
regulated
listen.
sort of like cigarette smoke, but
Well, and we talked about that as employers too. We have a zero alcohol tolerance. If that stuff goes in play, a lot of stuff is going to have to get rewritten.
What do you say zero?
Zero alcohol tolerance. So I mean, you can't blow an 0.001
When you're at work.
when you're at work.
Right.
We have the no. We take random drug tests and all that, and I don't think it has to change from that, is what I've kind of heard. But there'll be some pressure put on businesses, and how do you do that? You can't take a drug test. It stays in your system, so you might not have the effects of it, but it's still in your system. So it becomes a really challenging thing, and I'm guessing there'll be battles, and there probably has been in other states. I haven't followed it, but it becomes a very hard thing to regulate and control and manage.
Yeah, I know some of the. I think the South Dakota Chamber of Commerce came out against legalized marijuana, and their tactic was saying how it'd be very hard for businesses to find employees, and how it would take 2 weeks to get a plumber to come. And I think that's largely a scare tactic. I think there's actually going to be some adjustment, but I think there's definitely ways around that, and I think that's just that demonization of it, I think, is pretty high at people's minds yet. But
that's another thing to bring up on some of these, like the marijuana measures in South Dakota. Sioux Falls is a young population compared to the rest of the state, and they pull a lot of power. Now, maybe they don't pull enough for a Biden win over Trump, but some of that stuff like marijuana, they hold enough of enough power to, you get some of the people that, maybe you don't win in the rurals, you don't get a lot of vote, but you get enough of vote where Sioux Falls can make a big impact on whether we legalize that or not. Because they are such a population difference in the rest of the state. Like me, I did medical marijuana, but probably in Davidson County, even medical might, be close. But it's just something to think about. All right, thanks for thanks for coming aboard tonight. Jolene Mueller says, Kennedy says, good night, Dad. So Rick,
good night, Kennedy.
Yeah, he says good night back. Yeah, glad to have you aboard here. Mueller's Day Off Show, Election 2020.
Sponsored by?
Sponsored by Patriot Tees.
I think I may have written down the URL wrong for you. There's actually there's a /store/Patriot Tees.
Oh boy!
And I put it.
Oh
I put it in the chat to fix that.
Lucky mistake.
Yeah.
Oh boy!
I was sure I double checked that this afternoon.
I don't see it in the chat yet either. But okay, so Etsy.com/store/Patriot Tees store. That's where you'll find that. Or you probably just go on.
What did they say? Store? I said /shop, right?
Oh, shop. Okay, so Etsy.com/shop/Patriots Tees store. Use MDO 2020 for 10% off. Trump is now a negative 210 favorite in some. That's what Mom Before Life is saying.
There we go.
So
That's interesting. So yeah, the poll the betting's starting to sway towards Biden. You got to think that's based off those numbers we're seeing in Ohio and Pennsylvania.
yep, that's
Interesting thing here is numbers in South Dakota so far: 62.7% Trump, 34.7% Joe Biden. What do you guys think? I'll pose a question to you. Are you surprised by the Joe Biden numbers?
I'm not overly. I don't think. I think there's definitely some pockets of heavily Democratic leaning in the state, especially on some of the Native American population and in Sioux Falls. So I think I'm not surprised that there's a little bit more sway towards Biden. I think there's still a strong Trump base here. Most of the signs you see around are Trump signs. So I'm not overly surprised.
I thought it'd be a little tighter than that. I just think Sioux Falls is becoming more and more of a hotbed. More younger people over there, and what is Minnehaha County? Probably 60% of our population, maybe even more. I guess I don't really know the true numbers, but yeah, I guess I thought it'd be a little bit higher Biden. Just Trump. I consider myself a Republican, but Trump can piss me off just as much as anybody else. You just wish the guy could just turn down the rhetoric a little bit. There's just a lot of people that just don't like the rhetoric.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. If Donald Trump of debate number 2 showed up for debate number 1, we could see some different numbers here.
I think so too.
Very different numbers, especially when you look at Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I think definitely Iowa as well. Colorado just went definitely to Joe Biden. Biden's up to 131 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 92.
This might be getting.
And there are no votes in from Minnehaha County
yet
at this point. So,
well, that's if you're the Marijuana Act, you got to be thinking that's pretty good. Yeah, and the problem is you can talk about undecideds, but they're only undecideds for so long. And the closer you get to the election, at some point they're going to make a decision. And so if they made a decision on debate number 1, they're not going to all of a sudden change it on debate number 2. If he lost a lot of people in debate number 1, debate number 2 probably didn't have that many undecideds left.
I can't see many people going into this election that were actually that undecided.
No.
They say they're out there, though. But it's surprising to me. It seemed very polarizing that you definitely had one side or the other that you're backing.
Yeah, I don't think you get out of the car today at whatever polling place you're at and are still thinking, what the hell am I going to do when I fill in the circle? For me, maybe it was libertarian or Trump, but I don't think a lot of people are, and it's going to be disappointing because I think Trump, if he loses, he did a lot of good things, and he kind of showed that you don't have to be a lifetime politician. You don't have to be entrenched in one of these parties to get something done. You still have to be rich. That's the other part of it. You got to be rich or a lifetime politician. But if he does it, you're going to look back and you're going to say,
different things, John. Being rich and being a lifetime politician.
No, I guess if you look at it, it's the same thing. You can't have one without the other. But
speaking of that, Kentucky. Democrats spent $90 million in a losing effort.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
$90 million on a Senate race.
I saw somebody tweet yesterday, if we could spend the money we have on coronavirus and political ads, and then we could probably have a cancer for cure.
Cure for cancer.
Or cure for cancer. Whoa, High West coming in hot.
It's coming in hot. I think somebody should have reached out to High West for a sponsorship.
Yeah,
tonight.
We'll have to.
Interesting thought that I've had, especially during the primaries, for sure. Like, how much of the media economy in places like Iowa and some of these swing states are at this point so dependent on the political spending that they get every 4 years.
Right.
It's the amount of money that goes through some of these places has to be just astronomical.
Yep. Yeah, so looking for a caller. If anybody wants to call in, 605-990-9080. You want to hear us talk all night. We want to hear some other opinions out there. Part of the reason we wanted to do this podcast, we're just kind of sick of what we hear all the time and on the media and not being able to trust it and not really knowing. And seems like they're not really talking of what the average person like us wants to talk about in politics and how we see it. And I think I speak for the group and said we're done with the divisiveness. We're done with the fighting. We're done with the being labeled as one thing or the other. I made the comment that why can't it be Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter? Why can't we be, what if I'm a Republican and I tell you I'm a Republican, you automatically think that these 15 check boxes is what I stand for. And if you're on the other side and there's no middle ground, and I think that's how both parties kind of want it. But how do you? I mean, that's what it's all about to me. I mean, we got to find some middle ground. Like you said before, we are a great country, but what happens? What happens if Biden wins? What happens if Trump wins? It's been divisive. I mean, how do we meet in the middle? How do we stop this rioting? How do we, if you think there is racial injustice, how do we stop that? We don't see it around here. I'm blind to it. But how do we fix that? Politicians aside, if you're looking to DC to fix anything like that, you're looking in the wrong place. That's never going to happen. But how do we do that? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'll take a stab at this one.
Okay.
I mean, great question, and I think you're right. I think all of us as humans.
Whoa!
Shout out to everybody. I think everybody wants a fair shot for all of us, and obviously, throughout history, some people have not had the same opportunities as others. From that's our history.
That's history.
Yeah, facts. Now, I think the number one thing people can do is stop doing the same thing and expecting different results. You continue to elect the same people to governor, the same party to mayor, same people as your chief of police.
Sure.
And then you expect something different. We as a country, we'll look tonight. We will send a majority of incumbents back into the House and into the Senate.
Yep.
And we'll say that we've got a 16% favorability rate. Well, we send the same people back. We need to start changing it. You need to send more people. We need with new ideas, fresh ideas, in order to get change. You can't send the same people, keep doing the same thing, and expect that the world's going to change. It's just not going to happen.
And we're never going to get term limits. But we're doing term limits for ourselves. Everybody that says we want term limits, well,
yeah, we can have term limits.
We can, yeah. We just
have that control as a voter.
Yeah. And everybody's like, we know term limits, but we just vote the same person again. And that's kind of why I didn't vote for Mike Rounds today. He's done it. You're through with South Dakota. You're done. You've done your time. You've done everything. To this point, I didn't even care if my vote would say, the Democrats win the Senate. I didn't, at some point you just got to say, I don't care. I'm done. You're done. You had your run. We need different ideas. You've done what you've done, and I'm done with you.
I agree. I think he hit it right in the head. We're sending the same types of people, the same ideas, the same ideologies to Washington to peer, and we're getting the same results. How you break that cycle is the real problem with such the entrenched two-party system and the stranglehold they have on just the messaging and getting their candidates into these spots.
Need some breaking news, John.
All right, breaking news.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
What do you got?
North Carolina. This thing is within 25,000 votes right now.
Holy cow.
49.7 for Joe Biden to 49.2. 86% of the vote in.
Oh,
that thing's tight. It'd be interesting to see if the Fox News and the networks are backtracking at all, or if they're still standing pat on their predictions, that their probability predictions that this is going to go Biden. And Donald Trump, as this has ticked up, has been gaining ground. So we'll see. There could be some major population center that hasn't come in yet, that they think that's going to flip it. But this thing is very, very, very close. Also, Ohio, big news here. Donald Trump just pulled in the lead, 49.8%, 48.9%. Biden's been running with that for the last hour or so. Trump has finally come in with 70% of the vote in.
Those are big swings. Both
those
big.
are colossal. Those are huge. In order for Donald Trump to have a path to re-election, obviously, North Carolina is a key step in this. Ohio, massive step in this. Pennsylvania, getting a little tighter. Biden's still got a hefty lead there at 53% to Donald Trump's 46%.
And that one really surprises me. Pennsylvania, I thought that would be, not even, I mean, with those numbers, it's close, but you could probably almost say that one could almost, as it is, almost be called tonight if it kind of stays in that range. Have we seen a favorability for Pennsylvania? I don't think they've called. Fox News has said a favorability for that one as well. If anybody has seen that, let me know.
Another piece of breaking news here. Online betting. Donald Trump now favored to win.
Now
so
favored.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy.
That's why some people drink on election night, like right here. It's a swing either way.
I mean, this might be one of the craziest elections, at least in I think in our lifetime, where even this early in, like this is a toss up. I can't tell you who's going to
win. Yeah. Pendulum swings both ways. The only thing that's really been solid since they've announced anything has been Florida. I mean, everything else has been pretty crazy back and forth.
And the only big surprise, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything's broken sort of how everybody thought it would go.
I know it's still early, but it looks like both Michigan and Wisconsin are going for Trump early on. Michigan in a big way with 20% in.
And it's been heavy Trump since the beginning.
Yeah, Fox News is now talking about battleground North Carolina too close to call. And that's crazy.
But you're starting to get some of the feel with some of these elections coming through, some of these numbers coming in. If they hold, kind of very reminiscent of 16 right now, where some of these places that didn't, we were kind of penciling in for Biden are kind of leaning Trump early on. So, long way to go with a lot of these elections. But you start seeing him, pull closer in North Carolina and taking those early leads in Wisconsin and Michigan. It could go pretty early.
So what they're saying though, North Carolina is pretty much Biden. I mean, it hasn't been called yet, right?
I think now this thing's tight. So it was 25,000 a minute ago.
Yeah,
20,000 now.
20,000.
Trump keeps inching into it. I believe Fox News was talking about looking at one of the counties that hasn't reported, and it went big in 16 to Trump. So we shall see. Yeah,
it was a 10 point for Trump.
Yep.
The ones they only have about 9,000 votes, and it was a big county. So almost Fox News is almost doing a little backtracking of their probability. Yeah, they've some of their probabilities now they haven't shown that probability, I guess, for North Carolina recently. We'll just put it that way.
And interesting, along with the president in North Carolina, they're also voting for governor, and the Democrat has a fairly sizable lead there.
And then Tom Tillis, right, as well.
Tom Tillis and Cunningham for the Senate. That's a very tight race. Also within the 20,000 vote range. But the House has already been called for Butterfield in District 1, and District 2 is leaning towards is heavy Democrat too. So kind of an interesting.
Yeah, just on Fox News now, they're saying Georgia, 78% probability for Biden.
And right now, with 50% of the vote in, Trump has a 350,000 or 340,000 vote lead.
So in some of these states,
but that's obviously Atlanta is not in yet.
Sure. Yeah.
In some of these states too, I know, I heard especially in Wisconsin, Michigan. I don't remember which way it was, but some of them weren't allowed to start counting any of their mail-in ballots till today. So there's some of these states you're going to get the in-person voting early, and then maybe some of the mail-in stuff late. So that could also swing some of these one way or the other.
I just looked up there real quick, and they said 100% Ohio for Trump, and I was like, what? But no, they're comparing it to 2016, and that's another one. Trump won 52 to 43% in Ohio, and I just can't see how that many people switch their votes in those places. Now, Fox, this is the first year I've seen them do this favorability or the probabilities. are they going off 2016 numbers? Are they going off exit polls? What are they doing exactly? Because 2016 was an outlier.
I think it's a combination of 2016 results, county by county results, and exit polling. Yep. And again, those early exit polling in Georgia really showed positive favor for Biden. It started Biden, then Trump's taking a lead, and now they're maybe saying that there's some counties yet to come in that are going to sway this back to Biden's. This thing's gonna be tight. That one may be. We may go into the next couple of days.
So
I'm gonna call that, but we'll see.
So what is Georgia for? How many?
16 electoral votes.
So that's a big number.
It's a big deal.
That's
a big deal.
That's a big deal. That's one of those two that if that goes Democrat,
if he loses that in North Carolina, he's got to take Wisconsin in Michigan, in Ohio.
Yeah, you almost
has to.
You have to make a run at the Rust Belt.
At Arizona and Nevada.
You have to, and that's the crazy thing. And you got to remember, the Republicans, just with California and some of those other states that are blue every year, they start behind the 8 ball. I mean, they start behind the 8 ball, so they lose a couple of those toss-up state.
On the East Coast as well, right off the bat.
Right. Yep. Yeah, you have Vermont, Delaware, New York, all those, New Hampshire, all go. You can say the same thing for the Midwest and the flyover country. The problem is we don't hold as much power. I mean, we have three electoral college votes. I mean, that's
Biden's starting to rebuild his lead in North Carolina.
Biden's going. So 87, and then a lot of that's in too. 80%, 87% is in. So
they must really know that there's a big Biden counties coming in there for him, because Trump's got a pretty sizable lead.
Yeah, 14% right now, over 300,000.
I'm guessing they're waiting on Atlanta, right?
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. Those bigger cities sometimes can be the last ones to get to report in.
Big thing, I think exit polling was showing that Donald Trump was only going to carry about 6% of the African American vote in Georgia. That they were going to go very heavily towards Biden. The hope there was maybe that he would double that he'd be 12, 14, even 16% of the African American vote for the first time ever. But it looks like that's not going to come true, and that's going to stay historical.
So there's another swing. You had that we were doing, it was Trump no way, then it was a little bit of Trump thing, and now we're looking again that those Georgia numbers and North Carolina numbers go the other way, and now it's looking like Trump is behind the 8 ball once again. Trump didn't spend much time in Georgia or North Carolina. That really surprises me. I mean, Michigan a lot, Ohio a lot, Pennsylvania a ton, Florida a ton, and it looks like those might be playing out. But did he not pay enough attention to the Georgia types, or did his numbers say that he wasn't? They have such good numbers that we don't see, these candidates, and you kind of watch the trail of what they're doing. And sometimes you think, they're not going there because they think they're going to win easy. But sometimes it's because their numbers show that they don't have a chance anyway. The Trump camp could have said that, hey, Georgia is not in play the way it is anyway, the numbers are showing. So just kind of interesting. Go ahead.
Fulton County is where Georgia's at, and they're only at about 6% in. So and they're 76% Biden.
John, have you looked on the on 270.com, right, where you can run the math?
Yeah, 270towin.com.
270 to win. What does that do? If Trump carries Florida but not Georgia or North Carolina, but he's got Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, what's that look like?
Yeah, you guys are putting me
on
a
road to victory.
You're putting me on the spot here.
So you want to give him Wisconsin and Michigan?
Give him Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, but give Biden Pennsylvania, Georgia, and North Carolina.
Boy, I
assume he's got to have Arizona and Nevada.
So giving him Georgia.
Give Biden Georgia and North Carolina and Pennsylvania.
And Pennsylvania, I think it's over. It's 284. That's what I get.
Yeah, there's no
path to victory.
No path to victory at that point.
Nope.
So everything is going to hinge here on North Carolina. If Georgia really is going to swing this way.
Yeah, he's got no path to victory. The way I have it is because he's got Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Nevada, New Mexico, Colorado, Minnesota, Illinois, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, and then pretty much everything up northeast. And there is no path to victory. You're at 284.
Yeah, if
Joe.
he loses, if he does win Michigan and Wisconsin, but loses Georgia, he then has to get North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada. Is his must win states?
Yeah, because you give him Arizona, Iowa, and
I have already
in Florida. You're at 253 for
He's
Trump.
short. It comes up
He's
short.
He's short.
So we may know sooner than we think. We may know sooner than we think.
Yeah, but if Pennsylvania switches, what's the Pennsylvania numbers look like right now?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
If you
Rick,
switch,
what happens if we switch Pennsylvania?
Trump wins 273 to 264.
Oh, really close. Razor thin.
And that's enough.
Wow.
Yeah, I just didn't think Georgia. I don't know. Just the fact that he didn't spend any time there, I really just thought that was didn't really think that was going to be a problem for Trump. Yeah, I'm playing with the map right now, and yeah, Pennsylvania definitely does it. It would be, yeah.
Switch in Pennsylvania, then that would.
Yeah, it gets 273 to Trump. You switch it the other way, and you're down to 253 to 285.
Wow.
So how are we looking at Pennsylvania? Close.
Right now, Joe Biden leads 49.3% to Donald Trump's 47.3%. We'll see.
And that's the state too that we talked about with that ruling. They got 7 days.
Yep.
So we might not know.
We might be here long. We might be.
We're gonna have to ration that baby off. If you want to join us, you have thoughts, 605-990-9080. I set up this phone on my computer hotline for somebody to call in. I will be disappointed if nobody calls in. A couple of people said they're scared. Don't worry about being scared. Just call in and voice your opinion. That's what we're here for. We are the average person talking about politics. So definitely don't be scared to call in. Rick, what are you thinking at this moment?
Yeah, well, it's like you said. It's if he loses Georgia, and if he loses Georgia and North Carolina, that the path is almost completely.
And nobody talked about those two states, have they? I haven't heard anything about those two states.
North Carolina, I think, was
a little bit
definitely in play. North Carolina, I think, was there, but I think Georgia was. Most people thought could be close, but.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be Trump.
Well, some of the people I was following, I think when I was doing the 270 last night, I had the path: Florida, Georgia, North Carolina. One of the three of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. It's got to have Ohio. Every program has to have Ohio. Then you got to get in Arizona. Georgia is important.
Yeah.
It's an important place, and that's why you've seen so much attention. Governor race, a lot of money being spent there. It's an important state. There's 16 electoral votes down south. Normally red state, but.
And I've been to Georgia a few times. Never been to Atlanta except the airport, and I would say it's a very red state. The parts I've been into, but you get that Fulton County, and another set of poll closes 9:00 already. Crazy to believe.
Are we going to see some Iowa numbers?
Yeah, let's see. They're talking about right now. Too early to call is all they're telling us on Iowa. Nevada. What happens if Nevada swings the other way? We didn't play that out. So but what else is there for Trump to get besides Nevada?
Arizona, Nevada. That's
it out there. And so Pennsylvania goes that way. It's still 279 Biden to 259 Trump, even if you take Nevada and Arizona. So there's just nothing there unless my Minnesota comes true.
Unless John's bold prediction of Minnesota would flip.
And then we're 269 to 269 exact.
Good right now.
Exact tie. Minnesota flips. We are. If it's a tie, what happens? They go to the Senate? House
for president, right? And
is the House for okay.
For vice president.
So it still wouldn't matter, right? So if it's a tie, the House would vote.
Well, in other news, Kanye West is getting 0.2% of the vote in Minnesota.
He had a nice showing in Kentucky as well.
They were. I think the over under on Kanye, they were saying this morning in Minnesota, was 86,000 votes is what they were predicting.
86,000.
Yeah.
That was the betting line.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, I would be interested. Go out to the chat line there. What's the? Can they update us on the betting line?
Yep.
Has that changed?
We need Mamba for life or somebody. What's the betting line now? What's the betting line out there we're seeing? I gotta believe it's still probably. It's probably back. Trump negative.
Interesting news. Very interesting news. So Fox News has called Virginia for Biden. There are people out. There's other media sources saying that race is too close to call, and they're bringing back that prediction.
Oh, really?
Well, wow. That would be amazing.
That would be. Well, I can't see that. I can't see that at all.
Donald Trump is actually up 53 to 45, but it is called. The race is called for Joe Biden.
Wow. So they have to see something pretty significant in order to recall it like that. So they had it, or was Fox the only one that had it named?
No, Yahoo's got it. Several online sources, but people are starting to backtrack it. Interesting. Hispanic vote across the nation right now coming in very heavy for Donald Trump.
Wow.
Which then again makes it really like those Nevada, Arizona could be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So if you switch, so if we we were talking about before, I put Minnesota back to blue. All right, I did it. But if you switch Virginia around, that gets Trump there, 272.
Wow,
to
this
266.
is gonna be crazy.
That's
as far as the state referendums in South Dakota, they're still holding at about what they were before. All of them are right now set to pass. Closest one being just the legalized marijuana, which is 51 to 48, and the other ones are
51 to 48, though. That's still closer than I thought it would be. And that's the amendment one, right? Yep. Recreational is the amendment. So that goes in. We better get our marijuana license. That Fog and Draws guy down there on Main Street there looking like an excellent. I think if that passes, I think we just go down there and offer him to buy his business tomorrow, right? I mean, that's what we do. We just go down Fog and Draws guy. I don't know how much we have to offer him.
I mean, is he listening tonight?
Yeah,
John would like to talk to you about a potential buyout.
Well, are
you looking for a business partner?
Yeah. What do you need to?
I joked that hey, I should be putting up greenhouses, so I'm just prepared for when it becomes legal. I didn't think it'd be in 2020, but
I'm curious the profitability on that. I mean, if you look at Colorado, I mean, is that a big money maker? I know it's talked about as a big revenue booster for the state, but my understanding is that Colorado does not see that. They did not actually come with there's no big quote unquote pot tax boom that actually ever came up.
I'm not sure on the numbers on that. I think you get, at least in my experience, it depends on who you read and what statistics you see on some of that stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's an actual monetary gain for the state or the taxing authority.
Well, I always picture it too. You have the quote unquote drug lords that run the state, and it's a cutthroat business kind of. Legally, I don't know. That's actually a marijuana lemon and lime tree behind Tyler right there. So I was getting prepared that we mixed a lime tree with marijuana, and so
that drug test not looking so good tomorrow morning for John.
He's gonna get randomly selected.
I just can't believe as a state though that South Dakota is. There's a lot of other states that are a little bit more left leaning than South Dakota that haven't getting that through.
John, North Carolina, 3,000 votes.
3,000 votes
between the two candidates, tied at 49.4% apiece.
Wow.
As we've looked at some of the projected, huge state. I mean, if he's going to lose Georgia, but he can flip North Carolina, absolutely crucial to the president maintaining.
We'll do that right now. That puts it at 274 Trump to 264, but that's still Nevada. I think we should give Nevada back to Biden. So if we give Nevada back to Biden, even if he swings North Carolina, it's still 270 Biden, 268 Trump.
Is that
66% of the vote in Arizona, leading Joe Biden right now. 54% of the vote, Joe Biden.
In your map, how are you dividing up the Maine and Nebraska delegates?
Maine, I have all blue. Nebraska, I have
New
split.
Hampshire,
I have
right?
split. But Nebraska should be all, we're thinking all red,
No
right?
way.
That would give it a tie if we put Nebraska.
Actually, I think in Nebraska, he's got 3 of them right now.
He's only got 3 of them.
Yep. But Biden's got none of them, so only 3 have been.
Trump will get 4 in Nebraska for sure. I would think.
So we want to.
I think District 2 is the only one that is probably in question.
Oh boy! So we do this here. We're gonna give him 4 out of the 5 right off the bat.
And I think Biden's got 3 of the Maine. I think.
Yeah, and I'm giving him.
Might be too early to call though.
The one I think is still in. I'm giving him all of them, but it's still too early to call in the 3rd district, I think. So if we do that, we give Nebraska. Let's see here. We give Nebraska.
Pennsylvania, 49.5 Donald Trump, 47.4 Joe Biden. First time that's gone red.
Wow. So we had a big switch there. Stay with us, folks. This is just getting good. This is just getting good. This is
a roller coaster right now.
All right. So if we give Nevada back to Biden and we give Biden Pennsylvania,
I'm going to go with a bold prediction. Trump's going to win Nevada.
You're going to go with Nevada?
That you've got the bold prediction of Minnesota.
Well,
we've got Iowa called in from the deal. I'm calling Nevada.
Well, I switched Minnesota back. So we'll just play this out before I switch it back. We give Minnesota blue, Nevada blue, Georgia blue, Virginia blue, Pennsylvania blue. And we got 270, 268. And then that's where the Nebraska one, I have blue right now. If he sweeps Nebraska, then it's a tie ball game.
John, I'm getting text messages that the phone line is not working.
The phone line is not.
There's no one's answering.
Oh, that's because I just got a
That's because I didn't answer it.
Where's Katie? Is she not supposed? Should Katie be our? Should be running the hotline?
Oh boy! Oh boy! Well, if they call back in, we have we got a missed call. If they call back in,
I think we were actually getting Mamba was going to call in to talk about South Dakota sports betting.
Oh, well, that would be. So you then know who Mamba is, but don't let us in.
Got a pretty good idea. Got a pretty good idea.
Chris, is it Chris Bauer? You're Chris Bayer?
I mean, I think he would take that because Bauer isn't that from 24?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's forever his name now.
Trump senior advisor optimistic on Minnesota is what he's telling us.
Also projecting
Florida, North Carolina, Georgia going red.
Who said that? Who?
Chris Bauer.
Chris saying he's saying Georgia's going red.
He's saying that Trump's advisor is saying. Well, I don't know. We have to. Chris, are you saying?
Call in, Chris.
Let's. Yeah, now that I will hopefully answer the call.
Oh, I was gonna.
Oh, we got a call coming in. Let me answer it.
First caller of the night.
Now we have to kind of play this out here and see if we can get this to work.
Remember, this is a PG-13 show.
All right, caller, you're on the air. Can you hear us?
Yeah, my caller number 7. Your caller number 7. You win.
Half-drink bottle of High West whiskey. No, that's expensive stuff. I ain't giving you that. Heck with that.
$2 off any T-shirt.
10%. Take you up to 20% on the. So, what's your handle, caller?
Caller number 7 is Mamba for Life.
Mamba for Life.
Mamba for life.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Wow. This is kind of exciting. We don't even know who it is. Tyler has an idea. What insights do you have for us tonight? Mamba for Life.
Yeah. So right now minus 450 favorite.
Wow.
So if I'm a Biden fan, I'm getting extremely concerned at this point. If it shifted, the odds of that, the experts have shifted it that much. I think we're seeing something happen right before our eyes.
I would breaking news, John. I'm going to breaking news off Mamba for Life's deal. You have your breaking news.
Oh, you want the.
Oh, you got to do it right.
All right. Boy. Oh boy. I might have closed it.
All right. moved all the way up to negative 600. So
Holy cow.
85.7% implied odds. Dave Portnoy, El President, is saying it's over. Trump's got it won. So there you go from the Twitter sphere.
He's saying Trump has it won, or
He's
Biden?
says Trump's won. Book it. He's saying it's for life.
So I kind of feel like Tyler's trying to
Breaking
It's like this
news
caller knows me.
while I'm calling in here.
Does that mean we have to kick him off the show? Or I mean, he's been pretty good. So
Dear caller, I will shut up now. Go ahead. Mine is yours.
So I've been out running a target run, so I need some updates. What are we seeing with the South Dakota measures?
South Dakota measures. We have Amendment A currently up 51 to 48% with 27 reporting. Medical marijuana up 68-31 with the same 27, and Deadwood sports betting 56 to 43. So all three are currently in line to pass, with the two with Deadwood and medical being very, very strong at this point.
Right, and you have West River polling. That's the sports gambling. That should move through anything out West River, right?
Right.
You would imagine.
Right. Yep.
So then what are your guys' thoughts on A, and then 26? As that starts shifting out to the counties further west, and has Minnehaha reported yet?
Let me get to that.
They hadn't had big numbers previously. We're looking that up. Our crack statistician.
Pass.
I think they're both going to pass too now. I think those numbers are so high.
I think sort of ironically, maybe, or as a little bit of a surprise, I think both those will pass. Traditionally very conservative South Dakota. I think medical definitely passes. I don't think
and you talk to most people.
Great ad campaign.
Right.
Ran on in favor of that. And
right.
Strong campaign on if you're going to vote for one, vote for both. So that would be my prediction there.
And Minnehaha has no percentage.
No percentage or Minnehaha. Well, that.
Trump getting trounced with 13% of the vote in Iowa.
Wow.
Interesting. So, all Iowa City.
It's early.
All Iowa City. No, what's your take on the sports betting? Mamba for life.
Yeah. Betting. I think it's something that we're going to adapt, and I think it's really a no-brainer for the state of South Dakota. It makes a lot of sense, and it will move to mobile betting, is from what I'm told, across the state very quickly. I think this was just a way to get it on the ballot and move it through just with the Deadwood stuff. But I've already heard a few different groups trying to put together some operations out in Deadwood around this. So it'll be interesting to see. So
that amendment, does that have to be ratified the next session? Or does it go in right away? So. Okay, so that session's coming up, right? I mean, that will be soon. So we really wouldn't see anything. I don't think we would see until like middle of next year. Sure, that's kind of what the model, probably like Iowa, followed, I guess. Yep. And then it takes some time for the casinos to get their operations up and going. So I mean, you're still talking a long process. So I don't think we'll be betting on March Madness, is what we're probably thinking, if there is a March Madness. Yeah, I think that'll be a challenge. So you're probably talking next summer. Yep, we'll be voting. We'll be betting on some MLS soccer and Twins baseball. Yep, that, or you just get in your car and you drive across to Larchwood. Yep. Got some breaking news over there, Tyler? Anything major?
Rick and I were just looking at the Senate race. Right now, Republicans have 41 seats, Democrats 43. Iowa Senate race. The Democrat is up 63% to essentially 35%. Interesting. 13% of the vote in. I don't know where that 13% has come in at, but obviously they've got Joe Biden winning the presidential race and Joni Ernst losing the Senate race as of right now. It'll be interesting to follow those numbers, or maybe we can get an update from the chat.
Yeah, that's the one thing too. We haven't really been following the senator races too closely. So if anybody's got anything there, let us know.
That's a crucial one right there for control of the Senate, how that goes. If Joni, the incumbent, loses out, the Republicans will lose a seat there.
Yeah, Mom Before Life. Your thoughts on if recreational has a chance? Are we ready for that? What are your thoughts on? That's probably the hottest button topic we have right now for South Dakota.
Yeah, you tell me earlier today, I would have said it has no chance. I would think medical would pass with flying colors.
Yep.
Recreational wouldn't pass. So I think obviously state of South Dakota, it'd be pretty shocking to see that pass. But looking at how tonight's going, I think it's moving through. So you might want to make that offer on that downtown shop and
how much you in?
Get things moving quickly.
How much you in for? How much we count your percentage?
Yeah. So there's three of you there, right? So I'll be the 25th%.
Okay. Well, we'll come with an offer. We'll get it figured out.
Here, another Senate update. Alabama. Tommy Tuberville,
the old Auburn coach,
beats Doug Jones, the Democratic incumbent. This that's a positive. That's a flip seat for the Republicans.
Wow.
Who had the majority.
Well, that just means you either got to be a politician, rich, or an SEC football coach down south to be elected.
Mamba for life. You sound like a sports guy. What's your thoughts on that? Head football coach becoming senator.
I think we'll see Nick Saban following his footsteps here soon.
Wow.
Ooh, bold prediction.
Bold prediction.
Interesting here as well. So Georgia, we've been talking about. Whoops, sorry, caller. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's a bold prediction, not as bold as Minnesota being taken by Trump, though.
Well, Trump's advisor, he's optimistic.
So here's another interesting fact. Looking at Georgia, it just switched. There's two key Senate races going on there. Both were breaking red as well. Democrat just took over, just basically ran even over the Republican incumbent in Georgia too.
What's the Fulton County numbers? Rick, you got those? Have you seen those lately? How much did Atlanta in? That's probably what we're.
I was frivolously looking up a sports connection to the South Dakota State House race. And Ben Lieber's father, Al Lieber, is currently in third place in District 17 for the South Dakota House seat.
Oh, really? Down in Vermilion, down in Clay County? Yeah, well, not that we're going to talk about it anytime soon, but since we're on the sports kick, audience would like to know that I got in a Twitter fight with the former Minnesota Twins closer Glenn Perkins' wife. So that's
this is such a John moment.
Yeah, claim fame. Never got in a Twitter fight with anybody before, but it happens to be Glenn Perkins' wife. So lasted all of 3 or 4 tweets until she found out that I wasn't some crazy redneck Republican. Then she no longer had anything to make fun of me for or judge me for, and then that was the end of the conversation. But it lasted for a while, and it was good.
I've also been in a little bit of a sports spat with a Minnesota sports icon's wife, not icon, but I have been blocked by Jason Zucker's wife on Twitter for also election-based arguments. But it was a very quick trigger.
I've actually been in a real life fight with Mamba for life over sports.
Not his wife, him.
Not his wife,
but actually him.
But him, yes.
Well, it must be must be what we do on this show. Mamba for life. You got any closing statements?
Yeah. Well, I got to run in some groceries, so I'm back to the real world here, guys. I appreciate my time on the live feeds. From Tyler's standpoint, he didn't mention who won that fight, so I think that kind of clearly identifies all those arguments and debates. But thanks for letting me join. And do I get that free Patriot T-shirt? Is that caller number 7? Is that what happened?
I believe it was $2 off.
Yeah,
your choice.
It's
a T-shirt.
It's in the mail.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
All right. Yeah. Fulton County is 24% and at this point still heavily Biden.
Well, I'm more confused now because it really sounded like I knew that guy, and I just couldn't put my.
Well, he was at a Target. So
Target, Sioux Falls.
Well,
Aberdeen. That was an Aberdeen caller.
Aberdeen caller. Gosh, it's like I should know him. Like, do you think I'd ever met the guy before? He had a
Yes.
He had a Mitchell number.
Former coworker of your wife.
Oh, duh. Yep. That's where I know him from. Yep.
I
Okay.
mean, I don't want to out anybody.
Nope. Mom Before Life's got to keep his secrecy. All right. Any other callers? Let us know. Looking for some updates. My wife just texted me who it was. Thanks, wife. Make me feel more like
That's
an idiot.
impressive. Katie's still listening in.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to keep tabs on John.
Yeah. No, I'm not against doing cold calls. So who called it for Trump while we were talking to
Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports.
Oh, he was the one that called it for
Well, obviously there's the Argus Leader map here is mostly in progress, but it is very red.
There is a possibility still in play for a 269-269 tie.
Mm-hmm.
I got it up on my screen right now.
John, can you run us through? What does that look like?
That
What states?
okay.
What has to happen?
So to get 269 by 269, all the ones that we kind of talked about, we'll just go Pennsylvania blue, Virginia blue, North Carolina red, Georgia blue, Minnesota blue, Colorado blue, New Mexico blue, Nevada blue, Arizona red, and that would get you there. And all 5 in Nebraska would have to break red, and all 4 Maine would have to break blue. So national popular vote, Trump's up by 2 million.
So that can actually, the 269 can happen a couple different ways. So Nevada, Utah, both going blue, along with Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and maintaining Virginia. Trump winning Georgia and North Carolina, and Iowa, and Nebraska, taking all of the Nebraska, 269.
And that has never happened, right? Ever?
I do not believe
I wonder
so.
what the closest one has ever been. We should look that up because I have the Google machine.
Use that Google machine there. That's an interesting deal. I do not know the answer, and I would hate to offer a guess.
Matt Lindgren wants to know, ask him about Kamala. Ask Tyler.
I think that was for the caller. That was a question for the
we
caller.
missed it.
Yes.
Oh, Big Mamba is a big
There's
Kamala
a rumor
fan?
out there that that he was not a big Biden supporter, but a big fan of Harris. Big fan of Harris.
Said no one ever except Mamba for life.
I believe they had a yard sign.
All right.
Just a Harris yard sign.
It's scratched out. It's scratched out Biden. Yeah. Perhaps a prediction of the future.
Maybe.
Yeah, so now Fox News are doing a little spin on more people in the Republican Party than ever before, but that doesn't really.
New York Times has the needle, has Trump as an 82% favor in Georgia and only in 79 in North Carolina. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that
the overall needle or just the states?
Just those states.
And I think the big thing
That's all I'm seeing right now.
is nobody knows in those states, and it's nobody knows. I was gonna look up what's the closest it's ever been. Closest. The 10 closest. All right, go ahead, Rick.
Well, I was going to say you would have thought that the closest to a tie would have been probably back before there were so many states.
Yes,
you would think with a better chance.
The Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton was the 13th closest in the history, which is crazy because that was a thought with big margin.
By popular vote or by?
Oh, we're going electoral college
because I thought it was a pretty big one for Trump.
Yep. So number one closest, we're gonna have to go all the way back to John Quincy Adams over Andrew Jackson in 1824. Yeah, I had that on the tip of my tongue. I couldn't come up to it. Well,
who can forget that election?
Yeah, it was 99 to 84. Oh, well, okay. 94 Jackson, 84 Adams, 41 Crawford, and 37 Clay.
Safe to say, most important election of their life.
Of their lifetime. John Quincy Adams over Andrew Jackson. Rutherford B. Hayes over Samuel Tilden, 1876 was 185 to 184.
Quick update: Wisconsin race is getting tight. Donald Trump's ahead, but not by a whole lot there. It's 52% of essentially 47%. But there's only about a roughly, what are we looking at here? 60,000 vote difference there. It's a fairly tight race. North Carolina, 91% of the vote in.
Holy cow.
49.8 to 49%. 262,904 votes for Donald Trump. 2,583,381 for Joe Biden. Very tight race, to say the least.
I just don't get what Fox had for numbers to put the probability up in the 80s for Biden.
I don't know either. Florida's been, Trump's basically maintained almost a 400,000 vote lead for about the whole night here at 91% of the vote. That's pretty locked in. You know, a lot of talk on Texas breaking Democrat. I don't see that's probably going to break very similar from a county by county as 2016.
So are there some of these states that are going to come so close? Did Jorgensen, the libertarian candidate, steal enough? I mean, if it's that close, did he steal enough of Trump's votes in some of these places to make a difference?
If we look at Georgia, there's 35,000 votes, 1.2%.
So yeah, that could vary. I mean, that's enough.
It matters. It definitely matters. Let's check out Pennsylvania here. See what we saw. Even more, almost 60,000 votes, 59,544.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
A big deal. Yeah, obviously you got to think those are votes that were not cast towards the Republican Party.
Right. Yeah, you're not going to be a Biden maybe on the fence and go libertarian.
So that kind of brings a topic that we can maybe diverge off a little bit, that based on some of the things we talked about earlier about sending the same people back to office all the time, and now the third party, affecting these elections. But hot topic that is discussed a lot is the ranked choice voting that's used, that takes a little bit of the risk out of having that third or fourth party, because then you're not voting as much against someone as you are just voting for who you want. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I would love to see us. I think George Washington said it very, very eloquently. If we go in the way back time machine here, the two-party system is a dangerous system. I'd love to see the libertarians have a better platform, an easier platform to get on a ticket, constitutionalist party to get in there. And if you're left leaning, I'd love to see them have a voice so that we can actually clear out. I think one of the issues that we have, if we looked at the primaries, and that's where we have a Donald Trump and a Joe Biden, maybe not our two greatest choices or the two greatest people that we have in this country to put up for leadership. It's because they have to play to these extremes of their parties in order to win the primary system. And I think if you could break that out and let those extremists have their own party, I think that would be good. I think we'd be better off as a country.
Yeah, I agree.
So any type of system that we can put out there that would spur that on. And I think, again, it does. I think it helps create more choice, more changeover of the Senate and the House. I think would be a good thing.
Yep, I agree. I mean, if you look at, that's like you said, some of the stuff in the Democratic primary, some of those states, if there was more of a ranked choice voting there, I think it was pretty obvious that Warren and Sanders were probably taking votes probably away from each other. That there was a competition there for that lane of the party. Whereas if you did something with the ranked choice, you could. Some of those votes would roll back up, and the person would still be, your vote would still be going towards the type of candidate you would be interested in, but you wouldn't be forced to pick, because then, like you said, it splits.
Kobe Larson, live chat says Kanye 2020.
Kanye 2020.
Is he still married to Kardashian, or are they separated?
I believe they're still together.
They're still together.
That race does not look very good for Kanye West. I think it's safe. I think this is another thing.
We're going to make that call.
I think we can call this race that Kanye is not going to win the presidency.
And once again, I don't have the sounder up anymore because I'm terrible at running the board.
But Kanye was definitely at a disadvantage because he definitely wasn't on ballots in all the states.
Only 12 states, I think, right?
And obviously he just kind of decided one day in the shower or something that he was going to run for president, right? He didn't have a lot of foresight into planning that. But I mean, I think.
And Rick, I'm going to call you. That's fake news because I do believe he predicted this at an award show that he was going to run at some point in the future,
Right.
And then thought about it
Yep.
and came out in the shower.
No, I think that's true. Yes.
But failure to plan.
Right.
Failure to plan.
For failure to plan. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did run and got on most of the ballots. He would pull. He would obviously not win, but he could pull a decent number of votes. I would have to imagine in a lot of places.
Which means what?
Well, just an interesting observation. There's no deep meaning there. I'm just saying.
Where's he on the ballot? Do you guys remember?
Oh, I don't remember.
The 12 states. I wish it was South Dakota. I would have so voted for him.
I can't find it. Maybe there's not
Wisconsin. Kanye West is voting for himself with the first ever vote. I don't know if anybody has that list or a link. Send it to us in the chat. Well, I found a Wikipedia page. Wikipedia knows everything. They're the smartest person alive.
As much of a joke as that used to be, like when we were like in high school and college, that Wikipedia was. It's actually not a joke anymore.
Arizona, Florida, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin.
He's just not registering enough to show up anywhere. So I don't know how many votes he's getting.
No, back to your guys'.
But I think Rick's right. I think you'd be shocked.
How many of them?
The final number will be sobering.
You know,
Vermont, he has 969 votes.
One thing that I had that I want to queue up because I think it's just absolutely hilarious to how these people think that are in office and voting for the same person twice and expecting the same results. I just want to play this little sound clip for the audience.
Those black young men who think somehow they can align themselves with Trump, not only are they terribly mistaken, any of them showing their face, I will never, ever forgive them for undermining the possibility to help their own people and their own communities. It is absolutely unconscionable. It is shameful. But if they would spend some time with us, we would help them to know what we're struggling for and how they would be able to help us in this struggle. They don't send anything to, any of the social media about helping us in what we're doing. I mean, I guess it's all right to talk about, how many cars you got. It's all right to talk about women, etc., on all of these platforms. But when are you going to join with us to talk about how we save all of our black banks? When are you going to join with us to talk about we've got to stem the tide of.
Now, I got better at the end to actually know what she was talking about, but saying that she will never forgive black voters who vote Trump over Biden. That's a senator, ladies and gentlemen. That is Maxine Waters. And she has been a senator since, I should have had that up. Senator.
John, while you're looking that up, interesting news. Remaining counties in North Carolina all won by Trump in 2016.
Wow.
So it'd be curious. We haven't seen anything on any of the major networks kind of backing up the probability report from earlier in the night. That was almost an hour and a half ago when that came out. I mean, I don't know that we want to call the race, but this thing's going to come down to the wire.
Maxine Waters, she was. She's not in the Senate. She's House. Maybe I said that wrong. 1991. So there's your smart play for how many years she's been in it, and that's the best that she can come up with telling. And that's kind of stuff we don't need.
So I mentioned earlier, not once again, this is frivolous, but that Kanye West had, now he has 1,045 votes in Vermont for currently running in 5th place in Vermont. Guess how many people are on the ballot for president in the great state of Vermont?
Well, so at least 5.
20.
16.
16. So what? I mean, you just gotta have a pulse and like 100 petitions, or what's
Zachary Scalf? I assume say that he is bringing up the tail end of the race with 24 votes.
And he has 28 people in his family, so 4 people didn't even vote for him.
The Constitution Party, the American Solidarity Party, the Party for Socialism and Liberation. We have not only do we have independents listed as a party, but we also have other.
I like the American Solidarity Party, like solidarity. I like that.
The petitioning candidate, the approval voting party, the Bread and Roses Party, and the Independent American Party.
Wow. North Carolina, 48.9 to 49.9. 92% in, too, though. That is nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's some talk that both Senate seats will go Republican. One will remain Republican. The other's no incumbent there. But they're most likely going to be so close that there'll be a potential runoff.
Nobody likes runoffs.
Because there is a third party candidate in there.
Yeah, ranked choice voting would take care of that.
Yeah, if anything's worse than voting once, standing in line for an hour, it's voting again.
Yeah, it's libertarian. They're not taking many votes, though.
What do you got for us, Rick?
I'm just looking at some of the numbers here on some of the swing states. We got Florida, which we got going for Trump. Pennsylvania with 35%, still got Trump 52% lead. North Carolina, like we talked about, is tight with a 1%. Ohio with 84% is 6% to Trump. Texas and Michigan are also going Trump. Michigan with 38% and Texas with 71%.
And what's your source?
Whatever.
Fox News just called Utah.
Whatever the Argus Leader is using for their. I've honestly found the Argus Leader page to be responsive and easy to navigate.
So I'm just getting to the Fox News and their probability stuff and how it works. And I guess this is a new thing for them too, so we shouldn't say this, but they have Michigan, Wisconsin, all Trump, and everything else, Arizona, Nevada, Iowa, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, all Biden. And Arizona, they're saying 89% Biden leads. So that's
it's interesting though that we're seeing a disparity with some of these where Fox seems to be leaning towards Trump losing a lot of these states, where a lot of other places are too close to call or are not calling them at all yet. Which is kind of interesting.
It's curious if they're putting on exit polls, what they're in. Here's another tweet, another thing from Twitter, saying Trump's likely to win Florida by 3 or more points.
Wow.
The final Kuniak poll had Biden winning by 5 points.
Wow.
8+ point swing.
Yeah, that's a lot
in the poll, and then so it just goes to say we cannot trust any polls.
No, that is way off.
And what was it 538 themselves that were talking about it, or there was, and I don't think it was 538, but it was somebody that said basically if the polling error this year is as bad as it was in 2016, there's just no use in having them anymore because they've tried to adjust it and do all of the things to try to correct the mistakes they thought they had last time, and they just apparently can't get.
And I think there's a bigger question here, and I'd love to see if we have some viewers what they think too in the chat. But is it on purpose? Is this a malicious thing? Are they trying to sway elections? Do we have a huge media bias and tech bias? I know if you listen to people on the right, they'll say that they feel that. Is there some truth to it? This is two major elections in a row where the polls throughout the whole thing have been absolutely incorrect.
Yeah, it's
by not a close margin.
Yeah, and I don't doubt that there definitely is some. How would I say this? I definitely think that the media picking which polls they want to talk about, they definitely have that in mind of definitely influencing. But I can't believe that there's these pollsters that I mean, this is what they do for a living. You would think that they would try to make it as accurate as possible, but maybe they have been taking some shots at trying to sway it, and
money talks.
Not a lot. That's another good point. Not a lot of discussion about campaign refinancing this year.
No, there hasn't been.
Here again, conspiracy theory maybe, or maybe it's a little bit of my politics shining through. But the left, the Democratic Party, dominated the money this time around.
Right,
absolutely dominated fundraising. And we're not hearing about it for comment.
Mike Bloomberg spending millions of dollars,
$5 per voter in Florida in a losing effort, $120 some million, something like that.
Yeah.
An astronomical number.
Yeah. If we ever want fair elections, we need to get a hold on that kind of stuff. And I suppose, I don't know, what do you do on something like that if it's just a guy spending money? Not really saying who he's supporting, not giving it to a campaign, but that's a slippery, dangerous slope. I think if a guy like that can come just spend, because there's billionaires, multi-hundred billionaires out there that could just throw that money around if they wanted to.
Yeah, I think
it's dangerous.
It is dangerous, and I think there definitely needs to be reform with the the financing of these campaigns. But I think also Bloomberg also proved that just because you spend a bunch doesn't mean you're gonna win.
But that's in the primary when he was trying to run for president himself. He's probably gonna maybe have a bigger impact, And I get in Florida he spent a lot of money too, but there's other places he spent some money too that
Got a text message from one of our listeners asking about Virginia update. Not seeing anything new. Yahoo, Fox, not seeing anyone withdraw it. Donald Trump still leads. There's 56% of the vote in. Donald Trump still leads with 52% of the vote to Joe Biden's 46. But it is still called for Joe. That's going to be one to follow.
I want to say
North Carolina, 92% of the vote in. Trump 49.9 to Joe Biden's 48.9.
Hey,
so Trump continues to gain a lead there. And again, according to some online sources, saying that most of the remaining counties did go Trump in 2016.
So I'm going to go back to my map, and if we switch that one, what do things look like here? 270 to win.
Michigan and Wisconsin are both very close, but they've been leading Trump all night, and he's maintaining.
Virginia goes. Where were we going? North Carolina. Are we going North Carolina blue? Or are we going?
I think it's going red.
Okay. If we go Virginia, North Carolina red,
but give Georgia to blue.
It doesn't really. I mean, it's 282 Trump. I mean, there's a definite path to victory if you take Virginia, North Carolina, and that's even with Pennsylvania going blue. Michigan, Wisconsin red though. Yeah.
The ballot measures in South Dakota is a quick update there. 34% in now, basically holding steady at what they've been all night. So all three.
Wow.
Still.
I can't get over that if marijuana's
was it Kellerland, or there was a poll. Was it Kellerland and somebody did a poll on it, and the polling numbers are basically lining up exactly to
what they said on all three of them.
Yep.
So waking up tomorrow knowing that marijuana is legal in South Dakota.
So is there any recourse that anyone can take if that amendment passes? Does anybody know? Anybody? I don't think
in the chat.
there is.
Amendment's an amendment, right? I mean,
Yeah.
amendments.
The only thing is that with a lot of these things, it's an amendment, but then
they can.
There's the bureaucratic.
Right. You gotta put your stipulations and your rules inside of that. It's very loosey goosey. Besides the fact that you said, yeah, we're going to legalize recreational marijuana,
unless the government doesn't put any of those regulations in place, and then at that point, since it's illegal, it's a free for all, right?
Yeah.
Other than the 21, which is in the amendment.
I just can't imagine what that looks like. And so if South Dakota goes legalize marijuana, everybody is in the next 10 years. I mean, is it?
Well, I think everybody was going to be in 10 years anyway.
We're just quicker.
I just thought we'd be on the lower side of it. I think there'll be some very disappointed people in the state of Minnesota that they were behind us.
They got beat by South Dakota. No, that's crazy. Yeah. So if Virginia and North Carolina both go red, it's an easier path. I mean, I think you could even you could even lose Wisconsin at that point. If those two both go, you can't lose Wisconsin and Michigan both, but Iowa numbers still holding steady.
So I was just going to look at.
Yes, it is. They've still got Biden winning. There's some projection, but you had that could go Biden. Interesting to see.
Yeah, it's. I was gonna
see. I thought I was figuring coming into this until recently that Iowa was probably a swing state, but all the polling I was seeing was putting it pretty fairly red. So
what do you got on Ernst there, Rick, on Iowa? Is she?
Let's see if I can get to that.
Isn't it MSNBC? Wouldn't it be MSNBC.com? Their website's broken if that's their.
I was having a hard time even getting to CNN, so I think there's a lot of
Ernst is still losing. There's 48% of the vote in there. She's got 42% versus her challenger at 55.3.
MSNBC is now saying Arizona they're thinking Arizona looks very strong to Trump. And do we have that on our map?
So that's a flip, because at first they were saying that it was going to the Democrat was going to take that.
Yeah, they're saying that he's looking strong there.
Oh, really? Because I
think that didn't we have that earlier? Wasn't that one of the ones that they were saying blue? That's the problem, right? Tonight the media is all over the board.
And Trump is, in the current vote count in Arizona. Is it Arizona? Is that what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's significantly behind.
Yeah, they're
in the vote count. 73% in.
And they're saying District 2 and Nebraska, it's dead heat right now. 86 to 85,000 votes within 0.5%. Wouldn't that be crazy if it came down to Nebraska District 2? That would be
an interesting.
And Trump,
the swing district.
Everybody wanted to know what the heck he's doing in Omaha. Holy crap. Well, that's what he was doing. He knew it was going to come down to one. Just watching some more stuff here. Yeah, anybody wants to call in 605-990-9080. Give us your insight. The interesting thing is everybody watches different coverage, and it's all over the board right now. So somebody else has got something. Let us know.
Yeah, and it is. Like if you check CNN, they've got different states called than what Fox News has and what NBC has versus what things like sites like Yahoo. It's all over the board right now.
And it's kind of funny that the ones you think would be more Biden leaning are actually have more of Trump's numbers. And Fox News, you think would be more Trump leaning, actually have Biden doing better than the other places.
Well, I think maybe they both have the same strategy where they'd rather have people thinking they're not going to win and have a big win at the end and get the euphoria of that than have it go the other way. Yeah, the numbers on these states are just
well, it's and some of these states are so high in numbers of the other party, and then or the other candidate, and then they're calling that candidate to win. It's crazy, just the popular votes. Now they're talking. So Georgia is still pretty looking Biden. Boy, that's a big win for him the way it's looking if he wins Georgia.
Georgia 61% in, 55 for Trump % right now.
55. So yeah, I guess it's at Fulton.
A lot of upset people too that Florida has not been called for Trump. Again, people making the argument of media bias.
So Georgia, the whole thing they're thinking is Fulton. So like Tyler, you're talking before, they're going with that black vote, right? They think that black vote is going to be so bad for Trump in Georgia
that it was breaking heavily, 92% roughly, or even higher, maybe 90.
But what if 94%. It doesn't?
But what if it doesn't?
What if it doesn't? I mean, that's what they're all banking on. They're banking on these trends and the stuff that we don't know. I mean,
It's very slow counting, and there's issues. It sounds like in Georgia with counting of ballots right now.
surprise, shocker there. Yeah, this is almost gone to a snail's pace now of actually reporting anything.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking that we would have more calls by this point in the evening.
I mean, it's almost 10 o'clock, and there's a lot of. I'm going to look at Pennsylvania again.
Still very strong Trump.
Yeah, Pennsylvania is just.
He keeps growing there since he was behind. Early in the night. Ever since then, he's steadily retook to get in, and he's a 300,000 vote majority right now.
Yeah, it's only 38%. And what is the reason for this? I mean, because if you got mail-in votes or not, they're still going to call it all the precincts up to 100%, right? I mean, how will they do that? You got mail-in voting. You're still going to get all the precincts reporting, or all the precincts not report until. Well, they can. There would be nothing called yet, or there would be nothing reported in.
I don't know how that works exactly, but I mean,
they report county by county, so they call in and report the county.
Right. So, but there's still mail-in votes or ballots. It could be counted.
So that's the catch. That's why there's some of these are going to be hard to call.
But they still do know how many
are in, or how many have been,
how many they put out, right?
Oh, sure. They
don't necessarily know how many they're going to get in,
but they know how many are out there, so they know what the. Gotcha. So they know within
some margin that they.
Yeah. So say that they put there's 200,000 out there yet, and he's up by 300,000. You could call it. It sucks. Battleground states: Texas 51-47 Trump, Florida 51-47 Trump, Pennsylvania 56-42 Trump, Ohio 52-45 Trump, Georgia 55-43 Trump, Michigan 54-43 Trump, North Carolina 49-9, 48-8 Trump, Arizona 75% in Arizona, 53.7 to 45. Minnesota 58-39, 42%, and that one's looking bad for me. Trump in Wisconsin 50-48, Iowa 56-41. Biden. Some of these have big numbers in. Holy cow! But there's no hint of a call whatsoever.
I was just reading. Can't get back to it now. But a quick post on the live blog on 538, and of course they're going back to, well, if Trump wins this, it's all because of the electoral college, which, yes, that's it. But
that's how it's been forever.
I hate the fascination people have with the popular vote. It's it's like ERA in baseball. It's a nice stat, but it's not
how you win the game.
It's not the wins, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's but Biden or Trump doesn't spend any time in California. I mean, you're asking to play by different rules that they're not playing by. He doesn't spend any time in New York. They don't spend any money. They don't see that stuff. So we're just getting some looks at Ohio here, or Pennsylvania. Very interesting.
Well, I was thinking about this, and some of the, what makes a swing state. And, you can say, California is not a swing state, obviously, but it goes back to the fact that they've made themselves a gimme to the Democrats, right? Like, so that's why they don't get the campaigns. That's why they don't see those things, is that, for whatever reason, their ideology is the state is so blue that.
Fascinating, guys. We talked about it earlier.
Sorry. Fox News has now projected that Vice President Joe Biden will defeat President Trump in New Hampshire. I thought that was already decided a long time ago.
They just called that just a little while ago. I think that was a surprise from earlier in the night that they weren't able to call
it right away. It was close to him. Lindsey Graham will keep his seat in South Carolina. So a Senate seat there.
There's 2 paths for Biden right now. He's got to win Arizona. He's got to win Nebraska, and he's got to win in, or he can win the rest of the Midwest plus Pennsylvania.
The legalized marijuana has tightened up as we're at 45%. Now it's only 50.6 to 49.4. The other ones are holding steady at the same.
Biden campaign telling Fox News that the incoming data from Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan is in line with what they expected and so far is not concerning. I think they say that all the time up until they actually lose, right? I mean, it's what they expected. We're good. And then now they called that crap. Well, I guess, we were full of shit the whole time.
So North Carolina, you got to be looking at Durham County. That's the only thing that could swing it. But Trump continues to be able to lead there.
In Durham County, that's
Virginia, just crazy. Like news coming out of there is all over the board. Yep.
North Carolina, Durham. That's Charlotte, right? That's northern, or is
that's Charlotte? Yep.
Yeah, that's Charlotte. Yeah, North Carolina. I've been to that state before. Flew into Charlotte, and then you're in a population center, and then you go any which direction, and you are in the mountains and the boonies, and it's a completely. That's just it's the Hunger Games. It's the rural versus the town divide.
John, we want to remind the viewers of our sponsor and also our call-in number. We have not had another caller.
Thank you to Patriot Tea Store for sponsoring tonight's program. Visit the store at www.etsy.com/shop/Patriots Tea Stores. Remember to use coupon code MDO2020 for 10% off. Also, call into our Patriot Teas hotline, 605-990-9080. Love to have you aboard. Love to have what you're thinking.
John, are you going to post that in the chat? The call-in number?
Yeah, I should. Because I'm just going to delete it tomorrow out of the system anyway.
I'm trying to get us a caller from Iowa to give us an update on what the heck is going on there. Is Iowa going to stay blue?
So, Mom Before Life, updated odds. Trump's now -200, shifting back towards Biden. Any speculation from your seats of 269 to 269? Mom Before Life wants to know. Also, Chris Bauer, it's down to 4 states, fellas. Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Trump has to win 2. Biden has to win 3. Well, if I like those odds, if that's all he's saying, if we just got to win.
Senate, 43 Democrats, 42 Republicans.
That's going to be close.
It's
going to be close.
Down to the wire.
Well, if it's down to 4 states, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, if he's only got to win 2 of those, I'd feel pretty good about that. I'd feel pretty good.
Yeah, if Pennsylvania goes Trump, that limits Biden's options.
Hurts him in a hurry. Hurts him in a big hurry.
What county? Where would Douglas County be?
In Nebraska?
In South Dakota.
South Dakota. That's the hills, right? Douglas.
The polls are about to close again here in about 5 seconds.
They are 100% reporting, and they have crushed not to have legalized marijuana.
Not a fan in Douglas County.
No, sorry, Douglas County.
It's very confusing there, actually, because they're not consistently listing yes and no. It's whichever one is winning. So I was originally just scanning through some of the percentages, but I need to pay attention to.
I mean, we have some shocking breaking news. Shocking breaking news.
Oh boy!
And I don't think our listeners are going to even believe it, but California has gone to Joe Biden, along with Oregon
and Washington.
And Washington, a surprise sweep of the left coast.
Yeah,
absolute just crushing of the left coast. Unpredicted.
Yeah.
Unpredicted.
Who would have
Polling way off the charts.
ever thought that was going to take place? Douglas County. No, Douglas County is Corsica, Armour, Delmont. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, local here.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, Montana, he's pulled ahead there. Idaho is pulling ahead there as well. Utah pulling ahead there as well. Nevada, no information yet. Arizona is still fairly heavy Biden, 54%.
Well, now maybe we're looking good the other way.
This has after those wins, after winning the left coast, Biden's at 209. Obviously need 270 to win.
Yeah.
Donald Trump right now is about 112 without Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Texas, Ohio, Pennsylvania being called.
That's amazing that the West Coast just gives so many just like that. Just like that. I think you got enough swing.
55 electoral votes in California, 7 in Oregon, and 12 in Washington.
Yeah, I think you got enough of you're complaining about electoral college. Yeah, you just got a bunch, right? You got 55. Come on, man. All right, we're gonna make a call to our good friend here and see if he. I don't know if I have long distance set up on this number, but we're gonna give her a go.
And there's Trump has won.
We're
Idaho.
sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected.
Oh boy. Friends need to learn how to pay their bills.
Once again, Minnehaha County has not had any reporting in, and neither does Davison.
I'm gonna try this number one more time.
It would be interesting to see the Davison County number. Davison, Hanson County.
I'm looking to see if Hanson has any. Hughes County, that's Pierre, right? I believe.
Well, geez, Rick, you're asking.
I'm pretty sure.
You're asking somebody.
Kennedy's just going through South Dakota history. I think we talked about this.
Hughes County is.
Fox News is saying that they've got 44 Democratic seats and 40 Republicans. Yahoo News is reporting 44 Democrats, 43 Republicans. So they're calling a couple extra races there. And that is without Iowa. That is without Iowa and Joni Ernst, who's an incumbent, still trailing by like 80,000 votes.
That's a lot. That's a lot for a state like Iowa.
Yeah, with 55% in. Those are shocking numbers. I really thought that Iowa was going to break red, and we'll see. I don't know which counties are in, but both Senate and presidential candidates are in the blue camp right now.
Hanson County, 100% reporting, voted 54 to 45% to not legalize recreational marijuana.
Well, good bunch of
What
good.
about medical?
Let us get over there.
Well, Tyler, no smoking in your county. In my county, I might be able to light up yet.
Well, if it's like California and those other places, we're soon to have just like.
Oh, big news here, guys! Florida being called for Donald Trump.
Nice.
Trump is in, just called. Yeah, the numbers there are surprising that they didn't call that.
97% in. Trump's maintained about roughly a 400,000 vote lead. I think he won it by 300,000 in the last election in 2016.
But anyway, back to the medical marijuana. If it's anything like a lot of places that legalized medical marijuana first, there was all of a sudden lots of doctors,
doctor,
drive-by clinics that they would give a prescription to medical marijuana.
So if you have medical marijuana, does that act completely different in your job? What if they say you need it medically? Can your job tell you that you can't have that for medically? That's a slippery slope if they start telling you what drugs and you can and can't take.
Well, John and I have a mutual friend whose great grandmother went to the nursing home, and the doctor gave her a subscription to, I believe, Black Velvet because she was so old, and they were worried about what withdrawal would do to her.
Yeah. So Black Velvet straight in the IV, right in the veins.
Medical marijuana in Hanson County was 64% to 35%.
Positive. 4. Yeah, I think that medical marijuana is just about in the books in South Dakota. How about sports betting for Hanson County? They're a big sports town.
I think as some of these results have been coming out, I think some of these websites, especially Argus Leader, has gone from being a very responsive site to.
And let's be honest, if you think about it, what's going to have an impact more on my everyday life? Who the president of the United States is, or if I'm allowed to bet on sports? I mean, really, right?
What's more important?
Yeah, maybe we should just stop talking anything presidential and just all in on sports betting.
This may come down to Arizona. That's
what you're hearing now. Because if Chris Bauer is right, you split Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, it is down to Arizona. Then if he says Trump's got to win 2 of the 4. Boy, this is crazy. I did not think it was going to go
online
this long.
prediction: Ernst and Trump win by 5 or 6. So it's going to come through, but it might take a while.
There's numbers there yet.
No matter what, this will be tight.
Hanson County for sports betting 52.9 in favor, 47.1 against.
Attaboy, Tyler. Way to get out door to door in your neighborhood. Talk to both of your neighbors and
talk to both of them. Yes, yeah, I talked to both of them. I canvassed the neighborhood.
It's interesting with with a lot of these numbers and all of the ballots, how different that is from county to county, right? Like it seems like in a lot of these, there's like one county votes for it big and the other county votes against it.
And
big.
you think we're all rural South Dakota, that it'd all kind of be the same.
Yeah, sports bet just doesn't scare me. You've got a casino.
Yeah.
It seems like in every gas station.
Yeah.
With video lottery, sport, it just does not scare me.
And I think you got a better percentage to not lose your livelihood or your children's inheritance on sports betting, just because that's kind of the way it is. I mean, that's the way it is. You're not putting $20 in a machine and just going, I have no idea what's going to happen here.
I'm being told we're missing calls. We're missing call-ins. John is again sleep at the board.
Boy, I didn't see one.
Oh, maybe it's
605-990-9080. I could be wrong though. Oh, no, that was me trying to call out. Tell them to try to call again.
Caller, try again.
I'm watching it now on my screen. They call. I will not miss it.
Some websites still have not called Florida for Trump.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for sticking with us tonight. We've been quite a few viewers, so thanks for that. We appreciate it.
Texas could be called too. Trump's up like almost 500,000.
How's my Minnesota call looking?
Your Minnesota call, not good.
Not good. Not
50% of the vote in.
Not good at all.
50% of the vote in. Joe Biden leading 57.4%.
It's pretty good.
Iowa numbers scare me a little bit. Obviously, if that does not go red.
Did you break down the counties here? Let's see if we can get inside that those counties in
Pennsylvania. They're not moving. Nothing's being reported there, which is odd. Ohio's 91% in. Trump leads 53.2 to Joe Biden at 45.4.
The one thing that you do have in favor of your Minnesota prediction, John, is Hennepin County is 100% reported.
It is 100% in. Ooh, boy.
What do we got? What do we got everywhere else?
It's a big lead.
Let's see. Let's click in here. Yeah.
Nothing out of Nevada yet either. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, you have a lot of counties. What I wonder what the biggest.
John, I'm being told that 605. Is it 999-9080?
No, 990.
990.
Oh shoot! I put it wrong in the chat.
He put it incorrectly in the chat.
And I work for a telephone company.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. I wonder who they're calling this time of night on their cell phone.
That poor guy.
Yeah.
All our calls. No wonder we have not had a lot of call-ins tonight.
Boy,
some poor guy's been getting all those calls.
Is this a Muellers Day Off show? No.
Stop calling me.
This is Frank. I want to look at Iowa. What do we see Iowa? I mean, Iowa, you got to go right to left, right? In the state, you're going to be more Boy, it's all over the board. I was all over the board. Lyons County is 100% in, 83% Trump, Biden 15. Sioux County 90-8. Yeah, it's
Hey, this
Lyons
is
the one
interesting
that's in the
too.
very northwest corner, right?
we got a caller.
We got a caller. Oh man.
Caller number 14. You're on the air.
I'm number 14, man, enjoying the show from eastern Iowa.
Oh, eastern Iowa. What
yeah.
county are you in?
I am in Blackhawk County, so primarily Democrat County. But yeah. Hey, here's some concerns in the voices about Iowa. I know there was another follow-up comment here, winning 5-6%. Joni Ernst will keep the seat, fellas. She will keep the seat.
You're guaranteed.
Is that a guarantee? Yeah.
Guarantee. And Iowa will go for Donald Trump as well. And he'll still win, like you guys said, 6-7 points, probably ahead of Biden. All that crap you're seeing, all that early voting, that's all Democrat. You guys know that. Everybody's seeing that. And you're seeing Trump make that rally. And I don't think it's going to be as narrow as you guys think. There is some tomfoolery happening in Georgia and Pennsylvania. They're stopping counting votes in
that
big cities.
we did see that why the no movement the last hour plus.
Yep.
What are they saying?
Yep.
What
They
are
just
you
stopped.
seeing
They
on that? Why is
they
there no
decided it's
movement?
10:30. It's 10:30 at night, and they're going to finish counting in the morning. So
late
typical,
night. Yeah,
typical stuff. You know, I mean, I've never heard of a Democrat that's not staying up late at night. But anyway,
they're not working when they're staying up at late night.
That's right. That's right. So you guys don't need to worry about what we Iowans to the south do. You know, that double your total votes in the state of South Dakota because we have an actual population. We are going to hold the line. We are going to hold the line like we always do. You know, and I don't know if you guys know this, but about the last 6 presidential elections, could be more, could be less. I'm not that old, only 37. We have voted for the president of the United States. So that is important to know what Iowa chooses. That is the next president of the United States. So anyways, enjoying the show, enjoying the commentary. You guys all look really athletic. I really appreciate it. Keep up the good work. And this is from your neighbors down to the southeast. I'm in eastern Iowa, just south of Waterloo. Great place, great people. And we enjoy having you guys as a neighbor.
Tell us a little bit more. What's like a man on the street view over the last couple of days of both? You're near Waterloo, so you've got city. I believe you're in an ag area as well.
Yes, yeah. So I'm very fortunate. I get to work with farmers every day in my life. So of course, rural Iowa is 100% behind Trump. And after that last debate that you saw, where Trump actually let Biden talk, you saw farmers come around and see Biden's true plan, and that's to basically eliminate the ethanol industry, eliminate fossil fuels, and thus the lifeline of rural Iowa. And you've seen a lot of excitement, a lot of people get behind it, and those people are saying, hey, we're going to go and vote. And they did. They showed up. Rural Iowa showed up and voted. There were not a lot of people that sent in those absentee ballots or even really mail-in ballots. I'm not in the big city of Waterloo, but my wife works in the Waterloo area, and her patients that come in, you could see they were, as it got closer to election time, they're becoming a little more bold, maybe wearing some of their mega gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. So I think you saw, he did a late rally 2 days before the election here, and it brought a lot of excitement to the state. And I would say our local news coverage isn't as biased as maybe the national news, and I think there's been a lot of optimism. And then, like you guys said, Des Moines Register poll came out, and they were the only ones in 2016 that predicted what was going to happen in the state of Iowa. And they came out and said basically the same thing. So I think Trump holds the line. If there's no sketchiness in the whole not absentee, but the mail-in ballot system, he wins. I think he wins pretty handily. You guys are saying, oh, it's going to be close. Maybe it will. Maybe he'll lose a few less states, but obviously Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, got to be big wins, right? We need those. So, and Michigan. So after that, I don't really care.
It looks like, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, all definitely could go his way. He's still got a good lead in Georgia, but like you said, they stopped counting for some reason.
Yeah, that's
Yep. And you guys know, I don't know if you guys have followed. I know Tyler has. I've talked to him a few times. the Supreme Court swayed in Pennsylvania's favor and North Carolina's favor, saying, hey, you guys can accept ballots as long as it's postmarked, and then receive them up to 3 days later, and then all that tomfoolery that's going on. And I think that is a detriment to the nation, to the voters,
right?
And to leave things in limbo like that saws at our our moral fiber as a country.
Yeah. Thank you for not saying democracy. Thank you for not saying it's all their democracy.
I'm getting several messages from other viewers that want me to ask you about your Snapchats that you've been sending out tonight. You must have been doing some political. You've been doing some political commentary on your own.
Absolutely. You can follow me at Deep76 on Snapchat. I have great videos all the time. I'm really a nobody. And if you can't laugh and if you're a snowflake and you get offended easily, I'm not the person you want sending Snapchats to or stories about, because you will not like it. Anyways, that's my caller handle there. That's the first time I've ever said that.
Well, you should put that in the chat.
Yeah, put that in the chat. Maybe get some new followers. We'd love to build someone's social media presence.
Yep.
Is that right? Well, I appreciate it, guys. You guys do a pretty good job. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. And like I said, you got all the support from at least East Central Iowa right now. And I'll keep passing it on. So keep up the good work, gentlemen.
You got our support until Nebraska plays the Hawkeyes, and then I probably hate you.
Oh, wait, hold on. You're a Nebraska fan?
Well, no.
Get out of here. You might as well be a Democrat. I mean, everybody hates Nebraska. They're the Cowboys of college football.
Shots fired.
It is what it is, though.
Shots fired.
I mean, it is what it is. Until you guys actually beat us in a conference game, I guess you can start talking trash. But till that time, keep running around in your bib overalls and no shoes and your straw hat. So, and honestly, when they play this year, Iowa is bad enough. University of Iowa Hawkeye football team is bad enough that you do stand a chance.
Yeah, this is Nebraska.
With that offense is.
Yeah.
Which Iowa team are you supporting this year?
Me? Iowa Hawkeyes, man. Iowa Hawkeyes. I did graduate from the University of Iowa. I'm not a huge Jamie Pollard fan. He did fire the best wrestling coach in the nation for Iowa State, which was Cale Sanderson. And ever since then, until he leaves the Iowa State University, I will not support that team, even though I still pay them money every year for my college education.
It's called a donation at this point.
Yeah,
I hold a grudge. What can I say? So
here's a little bit of kind of somewhat breaking news. Wisconsin, Michigan. Wisconsin saying that there'll be no announcing a winner tonight. Michigan says they need until Friday. Pennsylvania isn't coming out anytime soon either. Those are all from officials in their states.
They need to have cameras on those buildings at all times. I mean, you saw stuff in 2016 where trucks were just coming in and unloading ballots late at night into areas, and I tell you, it's sketchy stuff. And like I said, that really saws that at our moral fiber as a country when it comes to voting. And there's always speculation about voter fraud, right? And ID laws, voter ID laws. And I hate even hearing stuff like that.
Yeah, the voter ID and all that, though. The voter ID, you got to do that onesie, Tuesday. Bringing in a truck of ballots is a mass thing. I mean, that's it's.
I get so caller. Looks like you dabble in conspiracy theory. I got a question for you. What's your thoughts here? There's several websites still have not called Texas or Florida for Donald Trump. Is there a reason for that?
Say that one more time.
Several websites, including CNN, Yahoo, Google, major websites, not calling Texas or Florida.
Come on. Really, get out of here. You know what those people are doing, what those companies are doing. They're heavily invested in the Biden campaign and those senators in states like that. So, there's been big hearings on big tech, censorship and stuff like that. They're just trying to hide what's going on. Really what it is maybe they're covering their rear ends a little bit so if there's less riots tonight. I don't know. That's pure speculation, pure speculation. Who am I to judge? So I don't know. I think CNN just doesn't want to cry online again or in front of all their viewers. And honestly, you guys, they wouldn't last in the Midwest, right? We're hardy people. And we can stomach a little adversity. And people out there, they don't like being told no. They've had a lot of participation trophies and awards that they give themselves all the time. They have these big ceremonies and award ceremonies, and they can't handle somebody telling them to their face that, hey, you're a piece of crap. You know,
another interesting thing here. Even with the left coast coming in here, granted they're at, what are they at percentage wise? 17. Oregon 64% in, California 17. Donald Trump maintaining his lead in the popular vote with over 50 million votes.
Wow.
So my question to you guys is, if he does win the popular vote, does that mean that Democrats concede and he's actually the president?
I don't think it works that way, no.
It doesn't work that way. All of a sudden, the rules change.
Arizona being called for Joe Biden.
Whoa.
That is a big
Did not see that coming.
That might be a death blow to the Trump re-election.
Whoa.
Is it showing the result out of Maricopa County?
We can take a look. Rick is digging into it right now. He's crunching the numbers.
Wow, Arizona, that really changes the map.
Oh, that is surprising.
That really changes the map. Now you got to win Wisconsin. You got to win Michigan.
That's a surprise. I would say that's a surprise.
You got to win North Carolina.
218.
Wow.
This is going to be close.
Wow.
Minnesota hasn't been called yet either. So then he doesn't get Nevada. 16 more. Oofda.
Well, the website here says that Maricopa County has 0% reporting, even though they have nearly 1.5 million votes.
Oh, and
listed.
And Kelly over. Wow.
That is not a good
Rocket Man's
Republicans there.
Wow.
However, though, Yahoo does have this at 44 to 44. They have not called Arizona yet, so that would put it at 45 to 44.
Wow. That's crazy. Was Kelly predicted to win?
I do not know the answer to that
I
question.
don't know either. I do not know that either.
That's a hard break that's a good break for the Democrats picking up Arizona.
Yeah, that puts it, what we're looking at now, that puts Trump at 271 to 267, but that's Trump with our Virginia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, not Pennsylvania or Georgia. So it's not impossible yet, but
puts him at 271.
271.
Oh wow. So nobody gets to 272 then in that scenario, correct?
Be 271 to 267. Wow. That can't be right, can it?
You're missing something.
I'm missing something there. Yeah, we got to be missing something. Oh, Hawaii. I'm not missing Hawaii.
The Nebraska or
I got all that.
Main votes.
I got all that. Yeah,
sounds like Iowa.
Iowa? Yeah.
No. We'll play around with it. We'll take a look. But
well, hey guys, you guys keep up the good fight.
Yep.
Good stuff. It was great talking to you guys. Have a great evening and stay free.
All right.
So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, great call there.
Great call. Good. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, very good call. I'm missing something. I am missing something. I'll have to take a look at what I'm missing here. Maybe I'll just start over. No, senator seats probably looking terrible now, aren't they?
Well, anybody have a majority. This could come down to what a year, what a season this will be.
And you know that's BS. Like they're talking, like your friend was saying there. What are we doing, Pennsylvania? What are we doing, Georgia? You've already heard the stuff this week about the Pennsylvania state's attorney.
So the 269 tie is very much in play right now. Very much in play.
What am I missing? So that assumes you give Pennsylvania and Georgia both to Biden. So what happens then? It goes to the Congress?
I believe that the House chooses the
president?
No.
Oh, we better look this up. This is important to all the viewers.
Is it the new Congress?
No, I don't think so.
Somebody should have taught us civil lesson.
The Senate does the president and the House does the vice president.
Yeah, because you have a split, right? You have a split ticket. Which how the Well, how the hell would that work?
Because it would. That's the way I think. Because it would be.
That'd be a tie. Okay.
Yeah,
Here we
before.
go. Here we go. Pursuant to the 12th Amendment, the House of Representatives is required to go into session immediately after the counting of the electoral votes to vote president if no candidate for the office receives a majority of the electoral votes. In this event, the House is limited to choosing from among 3 candidates who receive the most electoral votes. Each state delegation votes in block. Blah, 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 blah,
that's
blah.
right.
Oh, so the
That's-
delegates. So whoever's ahead. So if Trump's at 271, unless someone would flip.
No.
That's a tie.
So it would be the delegates. They don't each get a vote. The state they get a vote as a state block.
Oh, so
And-
California only counts as 1?
Right. So that's why they said that the Republicans would still
Because we have more seats, or we can win more states.
more states are
Ah.
majority Republican representatives.
Son of a gun.
Wow.
So that would be good.
So that combination, the way I have it right now, would be Pennsylvania to Biden, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, and Nevada to Trump, and Wisconsin to Biden is my tie combination that I have up right now.
So then the vice president election goes to the 12th Amendment. Senate is required to go into session immediately. The Senate is limited to choosing the only 2 candidates who receive the most electoral votes. So they would have to name Biden as the vice president?
What?
Senate is limited to choosing from only the 2 candidates who receive the most electoral votes.
The vice president.
The vice president? So it would be a Trump-Harris? Could be a Trump-Harris ticket?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
I don't know. Because, they used to do, the vice president used to be the runner-up in the electoral college.
That's how it used to work. But
Yep.
you didn't name a running mate. You
No.
just were the...
So maybe it would be
Holy cow.
Trump Biden administration.
Addition to 12 minutes states the majority of the whole number of senators, currently 51 of 100, is necessary for election. This means that abstention is not the vote would impair both candidates to win the election. Well, Harris would be voting for herself.
So if things remain the same, and Nevada goes Biden, and Trump maintains Montana, Texas, Florida, his leads in Montana, Texas, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, he wins in Iowa. He's got it won. Right. I believe that math is correct.
Holy cow. This is nuts. This is nuts. But you're
I'm
right.
surprised Minnesota's still too close to call.
Hey, I told you.
That would be a heck of a swing.
Boy, Arizona just surprised the heck out of me with
Yeah,
it's not close.
it's not close.
So
Yep.
are we still, Virginia still, are we still swinging that, or is that a Biden?
We still have that in Joe's camp.
Okay.
Yep.
So right now I have my currently my unassigned swing states are Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. Are we assuming any of those are going the way, or am I putting somebody in the wrong spot?
Okay, say again. You have Georgia as a swing?
Georgia is undecided. North Carolina is undecided. Pennsylvania is undecided. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nevada is undecided.
I think you probably have them all. Iowa, you got towards Trump
Yep.
because caller.
Montana, Iowa, Texas, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin.
Because Ohio hasn't been called either.
No.
Well,
But Trump's in the lead of all those.
Ohio, just because that's the way I thought that was going.
Trump
But
has
he's going.
actually
He's going to
pulled
win
ahead in Iowa.
He's going to win Montana and Idaho, though, right? I mean, that's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're not called, but they're
Idaho's been called. Montana has not yet.
okay.
Oh my gosh.
He has pulled ahead in Iowa now.
So they're
So our
right.
caller was correct.
Right, yep. He was. Hope he's correct in saying that. No, don't sweat it out. That.
I
Wow.
mean, we had a guarantee.
Yeah.
We've had 2 of them.
It-
We have 2. Chris from earlier in the chat called it as well.
Yeah.
So right now, the way it stands is both candidates have a numerous paths.
Right.
And there's no current must-win states.
Wow.
For either candidate.
The Senate race is at 45-45. And then if Iowa goes 46, 47, 48 if they go both Georgia. But this thing is just nuts. This could literally be.
What's North Carolina? What's Tillis doing?
That's leaning Republican.
Leaning Republican?
Tight race.
Wow.
Jade, John still has the price tags on his trees in case he forgets which one is which.
That's why I have them on there, so I know
He
which one
asked.
is the lime and which one's the lemon tree. Yeah. Yeah, that lime tree is loaded. We're gonna have a lot of gin and tonics coming up in my future.
That sounds
over
like
there.
a good plan. That
Yep.
sounds like a great plan.
You don't even have to go to the grocery store. You just go get one off the tree. Put it right in the old brewski. New Mexico just called for Biden.
Not surprising.
No surprise there. Why are New Mexico and Arizona?
I thought that was called a long time ago.
Why? What does Arizona have? Phoenix? Man.
So Fox has this at 223 to 148.
They still don't have Texas
Not
called,
everybody
though.
has Arizona called either.
Cornyn, Senate seat, Texas called. Not close.
Yeah, Texas, I don't understand what Donald Trump has pulled ahead. He's got 51.8% of the vote versus Joe Biden's 46.8 with 76 in. He continues to build a lead there.
It's Beto.
Yeah.
They got the Beto factor from last time around. They're right about Beto.
Yeah, Google has this only. Let me refresh, make sure I got this correct.
I wonder what the betting odds are right now.
Yeah, anybody have the betting odds for us? Google has this as 209 to 118, 209 for Biden. So Fox News is definitely calling more states.
Mississippi Senate called.
Yeah, CNN has it 192 to 114 for Biden.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They're all over the place. They are
They have
all.
the Senate at 42 versus 42.
Fox has it 45-44 at the +1, where they need +4 to win or take a majority. Wow. We're an undecided country right now. They're going to talk about why Texas is not called. Yeah. Looks like Brett Hume doesn't know why either. And Ohio's way for Trump, too. Why hasn't Ohio been called? So on my map, the only toss-up I have right now are Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. And if you do that, it's Biden 231, Trump 230.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes. It sounds like Wisconsin is planning on having the Milwaukee vote in at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning is what they're planning on having that finished.
Why are these changes this year?
Some reports that Pennsylvania is pulling away towards Trump. Like Trump's widening his lead there.
And they said, I just read something where they said that with a lot of the vote out yet in the western Pennsylvania, if Ohio is going strongly for Trump, then that would.
What's the geographic term for that? They have one. I just heard it the other day. Something. I'm sure it's a valley, right? It's always a valley.
Ohio's got 94% of their vote in. Donald Trump's leading 53 to 45.
But they still won't call it. I called it on my map. Okay, let's just say so I have my toss-up states right now of undecided of Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. We give Pennsylvania to Trump. He's at 250. We give Georgia, Biden. We're at 250 to 247, Trump. Then it comes down to North Carolina, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
And then so if North Carolina goes Trump,
North Carolina goes Trump. He still needs Wisconsin or Michigan.
what if Biden gets North Carolina and Trump gets Michigan and Iowa or Michigan and Wisconsin?
He wins. He gets 276.
Wow.
That could happen.
Are we stalled out in North Carolina as well?
94% of the vote. Trump leading 50.1 to 48.7.
So no call there either.
No call there either. But again, there's lots of talk that most of those that should be breaking in Trump's favor. We'll see. Joe Biden is catching up now in Virginia. 60. That hasn't moved much either. But Donald Trump leads 50 to 40.
I still have Virginia to Trump in this scenario too.
It'll be interesting to see.
We probably should leave that as a.
I'd say leave it until something happens, but
if Biden gets Virginia, North Carolina, and Georgia, it's over. It's 275 Biden.
If he gets which ones?
Virginia, North Carolina, and Georgia, it's over. Trump can't. Even if he gets Wisconsin, sweeps Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, he still loses. So Trump is going to have Virginia, North Carolina, or Georgia. Now that we know that Arizona is, I mean, that's really, but the betting odds from Mamba is still Trump minus 125. I don't see that unless, man. What out of those states did Trump win last time? Virginia, North Carolina, and Georgia.
Everything for Virginia, right?
He won Georgia, North Carolina, but not Virginia. So yeah. Wow.
A very interesting election night, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much more we'll see.
No,
I've seen nothing out of Nevada. I don't know what's going on there. Why there's no news whatsoever.
Yeah. We're already 3.5 hours in, so we'll probably wrap it up pretty soon because, well, I can't believe you guys are all still paying attention to us, just kind of sitting here trying to figure stuff out, but we appreciate it. Take any last callers. Anybody wants to call in 605-990-9080 if there's any last callers, but maybe we'll have to do a election post coverage after this thing's decided, or even who knows, maybe all those people that said this won't be decided. We met with our financial advisor that his company out in Washington, D.C., his D.C. correspondent that he works with told him that this thing won't be decided till December. And maybe he was right.
I think that'd be scary for the country.
I think that we don't need another one of those situations at all.
I can't imagine what the stock market's reaction to that.
Pull it out. If it goes more than a week, just pull your money out and put in something else for a while.
It might be coffee can in the backyard.
Yeah. You got a Folgers or you?
Quick update on the ballot amendments in South Dakota before we go. Amendment A, legalizing marijuana, recreational marijuana, is 52.4 to 47.6.
Whoa.
With 76% reported. Legalized medical marijuana is 68.5 to 31.5 with 67% reported. I would say that's a near lock. And sports betting is 57.3 to 42.7. That's a pretty safe, I would assume, too.
And medical marijuana is taking a bigger lead. How much of Minnehaha is in now?
I'm trying to figure that out, but I think they're getting a lot of traffic.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of potheads right now wanting to know what happens. They stopped playing their Xbox Live, and all of a sudden, Argus Leader is their new hangout. That might be a controversial statement.
Yeah, stereotyping
potheads and gamers and Cheetos. All right, well, we're going to give it a couple more minutes here. Somebody calls in, last words. Otherwise, thanks for joining us tonight. Kind of sucks that we don't have more of an answers and more of a...
I thought at this point I'd necessarily have a winner, but I thought we'd have a better idea in some of the Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin that we could
Yeah.
make a maybe not a call, but
And it bugs me that they are saying that they're already saying that we're not going to get this done tonight. I mean, was it a surprise that they had voters today? I mean, is it a surprise that they had an election that they had to count
we need our
votes?
conspiracy theorist caller back on. Hearing reports off from the BBC that they stopped counting ballots, absentee ballots in Georgia due to a burst pipe in Atlanta.
A burst pipe in Atlanta.
got too cold, or
Yeah. Somebody turned off the heat. Nah, come on. This is
Let's
kind
hope
of.
some of that stuff isn't necessarily true, because that leads to lots of speculation.
I mean but it's it's the same thing with us having one polling place in Davidson County. Did you not think you're going to have a huge turnout today? Did you not? I mean, did you not know you were supposed to count a bunch of votes, Wisconsin and Michigan?
Minnehaha is about 20% in.
20% in.
So it's been going up with them getting a higher percentage.
And they're for recreational, there are 57.9 to 42.1 in favor.
So that's just going to keep. That's going to pass.
And Pennington County is all 61% in, and they also are way forward at 49.
Have we seen anything out of Davidson County?
I do believe I saw on the map that it was all blacks, so it must have been all in.
Yes, let's see. What are we? Are we a bunch of potheads here?
No, we voted 50.6 against 49.44.
In Davidson County.
Basically a dead heat.
Yeah, it was 4,227.
John, you didn't do a good enough job out
No.
wrangling up votes.
135 for. Yeah,
So Davidson County didn't even get 10,000 voters, though, huh? So not even half of the.
At least for that.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. Good point. You could have left that blank. Well,
Clay County's still voting strong for it, as is Brookings, and Brookings is in.
I'd have to say Minnehaha, if they're already that percentage in, it's going to keep on going higher. So good luck to all those who have to hire people anymore with medical or recreational marijuana in play. I just have to believe that's going to make things a complete shit show. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong.
I think in my opinion, no, my overall opinion is that I think it's ridiculous to outlaw a plant.
Well, I
may be highly underestimating the prevalence of people who use marijuana currently.
Yeah, I think if you could actually see truthful numbers there, I think it'd be shocking.
Mm-hmm. I think it's already there.
Sure.
Because I know I've talked to some people. I mean, there are already places that they don't do drug tests
because they know that
they would have any employees.
Sure.
So, I don't think it's.
Yeah, but a lot of that might be a kind of different workforce too.
Well,
that you're dealing with. So,
but people can come to work drunk just as easily they come to work high. So,
it's true. All right. Well, with that, pearls of wisdom from Rick on who smokes weed and who doesn't, we will call it a night.
Any last second predictions?
Yeah, let's go around the table and say, I think Pennsylvania goes Trump. And I think Wisconsin and Michigan go Trump. But I still think he loses. He doesn't get any of the Georgia, North Carolina,
Ohio
Virginia.
Called for Trump.
Well,
I mean, we're just signing off, and it's getting crazy. I think Trump's got it won.
He's got Ohio and Iowa go Trump. That would be the
Ohio, Iowa, Pennsylvania, North Carolina.
Yeah, you need Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, and then Trump wins. Well, yeah.
Well,
Nevada, finally getting results in from Nevada. Check the chat. We may be getting requests to stay on.
I got school tomorrow.
We need a poll. Some of us have to go to work.
I literally have to go to school tomorrow. Dang, continuing ed.
Rick, maybe you can remind the viewers again who our sponsor is.
Sponsor is Patriots Tees.
And are you guys both representing t-shirts that are available?
No, just myself.
No, this is a National Guard from recruiter Brandon Deffabaugh, our old neighbor. Kind of like it. Back-to-back world champions. It's classy.
That's very classy.
It's very classy. National Guard puts this one out. Really like that.
So once again, our sponsor is. You get them at etsy.com/shop/ remember to use the coupon code MDO2020 for 10% off. That promotion code runs until next Tuesday.
Rick, your prediction?
I honestly, I came into this evening thinking that Trump had a very tough road. I think that road is extremely easier now. I think it's. I don't know that I'm ready to call it for Trump, but I think it's.
You think there's too many states out there that he's got a good shot in?
He has so many paths available yet to him with so many states in play that he has. At this point, I think it's nearly 50-50 in my mind. But it's too bad we couldn't get a couple more states like the Georgia, the North Carolina, the Pennsylvania in, because I think those would go a long way to pushing it in Trump's favor.
And
guys, interesting thing. I've got a couple of two texts. When you gave the sponsorship, it buzzes you out. It's done it every time.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't. Is that a YouTube thing?
Freaking YouTube. Every time it buzzes you out.
Supposedly, yeah.
How the heck do they? So don't say sponsor and say it.
Etsy.com/shop/Patriots Tees store.
Maybe could be our sponsor. Oh, you like that? I said it after the fact.
Getting tricky.
That's crazy. YouTube. We can do whatever the hell we want, man. It sucks.
Big tech coming in. That says we nailed it. It got by the censor.
Yeah. So for next time, we always list what we're gonna.
What did they say there? Oh, they got Georgia. Yep.
Yeah. Mambo for Life says, it's been fun. CNN and Fox News aren't signing off, but basically,
Fox News and CNN get paid.
All right. Well, we'll have to have another Muellers Day Off show once we talk about Fallout.
Apparently we can't even have a sponsor.
Yeah, we can't have a sponsor because, hey, you like this? That's a baseball card with the name of a company on it. Jerks. Yeah, Ustream is no more. Well, or it's paid, so we couldn't do Ustream anymore. So really all you have is Facebook or YouTube. I don't know of any other good ones. There's other podcast ones, but all right. Well, it's been fun. Thanks to Tyler. Thanks for Rick. John, signing off. Last words of wisdom on the table one more time, Rick.
Like I said, I think it's a lot closer race than I thought it was going to be. I think both candidates have a path forward. I think it's the next 24 hours. Hopefully, we have a better handle on some of these races.
Thanks for having me. I don't know if I added anything to the conversation.
Oh, yeah, but, a lot.
John, you said come hang out with for a half hour, and it's like.
Hey, we'll see you again in 4 years. So, thanks everybody. Still 11 people on. Can't believe that. So, thanks for hanging tough with us. Promise we'll do this more often, and hope everybody wins that you want the person to win. Have a good night.